Hey, family. You guys miss me? I have been gone for a full week. I think this is the longest I've ever been gone from the show. Um, and why was I gone for a full week? Honestly, it was a bit of a timeout because I watched back the last episode. Thank you guys. I watched back the last episode, and there are two things that became very clear to me. Number one, it became clear to me that I was very angry and justifiably so. And number two, it also became clear to me as an audience, I don't think, sorry, you guys, I'm always putting on lotion. I don't think you guys fully understand or recognize how much nastiness social commentarians get when covering Love Island. And for anybody who thought I was being harsh, I promise you, every single person I knew who was like, Blue, that's harsher than usual. The minute I started sending them screenshots, they were like, oh, you actually went easy on them. If you guys understood how much vitriol, how many personal attacks, how nasty, corrosive, unnecessarily disrespectful, mean spirited, and combative the Love Island fandom was, not only would you understand why I was so vexed, to use the proper term, I was vexed, you would also, if I'm being honest, most of you would have acted worse. I'm not doing this, I'm not virtue signaling. I'm not making excuses. I'm saying in the last week that I have been gone, when I tell you every single person in my personal life who saw and witnessed the nasty vitriol that I was receiving said, "Oh, baby, you actually played it light." And so I need y'all, before you jump to conclusions, to think that everybody who comes on social media is just trying to be seen. I'm trying to make enough money to disappear. I'm not trying to be seen. I need you to understand that it is abnormal and almost obscene, the level of abuse that people in this position take, no matter how small their platform is. I made the mistake of thinking that as a micro creator who has under 100,000 followers, that it would be a while before I was in this space of being attacked in this way. I normally associate this level of ugliness, fanaticism, and hyper focus on celebrity. And I was talking to Bridget literally this morning because, for those of you who don't know, Bridget Kelly is one of my closest friends. She actually is a celebrity, right? I said, Bridget, I don't want to be a celebrity. I'm a public figure. Back in the day, public figures would be like the mayor, someone who's, the head of the PTA, someone who runs a favorite coffee shop, someone who was public facing and yet not a celebrity. And I've always, as a writer, writers fall in that category. I've always, as a writer, known that unless I was Danielle Steele or Alex Haley or somebody, that as a writer, I had the best of both worlds where I could share my opinions, have an impact, but still have privacy and have a little bit of anonymity. We are in a space right now where thought leadership is being latched on, attacked, and just obsessed over in a way that used to only be for celebrities. And I think what created that was content creator culture, influencer culture, right? I'm a content creator, but I'm not an influencer child. Don't nobody really, maybe y'all care, but I don't think nobody really cares what I'm eating and drinking. But yeah, I was naive. What I saw in that video, by the way, if anybody's wondering if I'm going to apologize, no, I meant everything I said. I have a rule that if I meant it and planned and would do it again, I can't apologize for it. So I can't. Right? So as someone who is not a liar, I'm a lot of things, I'm not a liar. I can't apologize for something I meant and plan to do again and put in the same position. What I can say, though, however, is that, and I'm also not going to say I wish I had taken a beat because I had taken 3 days off before. That was the 3 days calm down version. It was worse. What I will say is there's been a beautiful education. And for anybody out there who wants to be a content creator, this is for you. This is why I'm sharing. Because I have a group chat. I don't need to unpack this with y'all respectfully. But I know a lot of content creators and people who want to have YouTube channels and followings hit me up saying, Blue, give me advice. So I'm trying to be more intentional about sharing what I'm learning as I'm learning it, as long as I'm safe, right? I'm safe. When you are someone who does this work, you have to do the work in a way that you are proud of, even if nobody applauds. I'm going to repeat that. If you feeling good about what you're doing requires external validation, this is not for you. If you feeling good about what you're doing requires a brand deal, this is not for you. You need to be able to say things that even if nobody claps, you know that you and the God that you serve will be okay. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't enjoy last week. Did not enjoy it whatsoever. And I didn't enjoy it because of the trolls from Twitter who came onto YouTube, because Twitter is a different beast, right? I'm not a Twitter person because Twitter has normalized chaos and cruelty that I personally don't subscribe to. So as someone who intentionally does not spend time on Twitter, I forgot that YouTube feeds my show to Twitter. So even though I love YouTube and cannot stand Twitter, Twitter found its way over here. And the very shit that I don't like on Twitter ended up here in the YouTube space. And I recognize the only reason I came back this week, because for those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Bluecentric. Welcome to Bluecentric Live. I should probably have started off with that. I apologize. But I do this work because I'm passionate about it. If I was not passionate about it, last week would have been my last week. I have 5 streams of income. I would have been like, fuck y'all. I'm going to make my candles and teach my classes, and YouTube can suck my dick. Respectfully. Actually, no, that's not respectful. Disrespectfully. Yes? It is only because of all the emails and DMs I get, all the times that I get stopped in the street, the supermarket, in the bathroom. Could y'all stop stopping me in the bathroom when I'm peeing? Let me wash my hands first. Just a little. Okay. But if it wasn't for the positive impact that I know this channel and this show does, last week I would have been like, it's not worth it. Y'all talking to me crazy. It's not fucking worth it to me. It's not worth it. So I put everybody on a timeout. I put the Blue Crew on a 7-day timeout. Not because I don't love you, not because I'm scolding y'all, but I needed you guys and me to have time to consider, do we need to continue this relationship? Somebody said I left Twitter in 2018, you smart. Okay? I need y'all to know there's no amount of money where I will do something that I do not like. Ask all my former employers. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. I can't do things I don't believe in. There's no amount of zeros that will make me do things I don't believe in. You can ask Byron Allen, my former employer. You can ask Kanye West, who I chin-checked in a room full of people politely. You literally, I'm naming billionaires on purpose. If somebody with a B, not an M, a B, if I am the girl who's notorious for telling billionaires, yeah, so I disagree and you can't pay me to agree, I promise you that Susie Cakes 865 telling me she's disappointed in me is not finna move me. All right, so we're back. Now, that wasn't me being nasty. That was me saying, hey, guys, thank you. Peace is your priority. I love that. Hey, guys, if you are someone who wants to do social media, please do not pander to the audience, pander to your integrity. And speaking of integrity, some of you don't know what that word means and tried to tell me what that word means because you did a Google search, because Google searches on words in the dictionary give you a shallow AI iteration of what those words mean. I was speaking academically, so I'm not going to be condescending. I promise you I'm not being condescending. I want to explain to you guys for the upkeep time what integrity means, because the comments are full of people who Googled the word integrity, and because what I said wasn't verbatim what the definition said, they didn't understand that what I said was incredibly accurate and actually deeper than the AI definition. Not shallower or wrong, deeper, right? Integrity by definition means you practice what you preach. It means that you do things that are aligned with your moral code. This is what fucked y'all up last week. And it's the proverbial, y'all. It's not the viewers. It's just whatever trolls we're watching. But I think this is actually a really important point that is universally helpful. What people don't recognize is moral code is subjective. What is a moral code for someone who believes in bro code might be different from the moral code of someone who believes in can't we all get along. A moral code in Asia might be different than a moral code somewhere in New England. When I was applying for this job one time, I remember it was an American company that said, Blue, this job is in Asia. I need you to understand, in Asia, codes of ethics and decorum are very different. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm a pretty professional person. They said, no, you're a very honest person. I said, well, what are you trying to say? Asians are not honest? That's racist. I was about to call this white man a racist. And he said, no, Blue, in Asia, lying is seen as polite. In Asia, if somebody asks you, is this food good? You're supposed to say yes, whether it's good or not. I said, oh. And they said in Asia, and this is what he told me, if the white man is lying, guys, please find him. I'm just telling what I was told. If you say that you don't like what you were served, they think you're rude. Now in America, if somebody says, did you like it? You're like, it's not really, I'm not really into a peas like that. I'm not a fan of peas. And they can be like, oh, okay, we'll give you something else. In other countries, you lack morals and ethics by doing the exact same thing. So the part that had people fucked up is when I said, I thought that when it came to the fire pit, the young men had more integrity in their choices at the fire pit than the girls, because the young men said, we don't like being with the girls, and then we're consistent about not choosing the girls. While the girls said, we can't stand these bitches, was calling men bitches for days on days on days, and then inconsistently still chose them. That is integrity. That has nothing to do with me personally agreeing with the moral code. Because moral code is subjective, the only objective part of integrity that I could teach about and have been teaching about for 20 years now is consistency of character. You see how we're right back to what I said last week, but I had to do all the explanation to get us back to where I started? Because moral codes are subjective, in my opinion, as someone who's been doing this work for 20 plus years, integrity is neutral because we can't all agree on the code. The only thing we can agree on is consistency of character. If your character is consistent, you have integrity to your moral code. If you say one thing and do something else, if you don't practice what you preach, your integrity is compromised. Which means even if I don't fuck with Corbin, even if I don't fuck with Casey, even if I don't fuck with whoever is in front of me, if what they practice and what they preach are in alignment, they have more integrity than someone I might like, someone who I do agree with, who is inconsistent. Of all the nasty things y'all said to me in the comments that I kept up, unless they were flagrantly disrespectful, are you peeping that the only point of contention that I have is the education point? That's because I don't take what you say about me personally. I do care about y'all sounding stupid around me, though. I do care about words like integrity whooping y'all asses, though. I do sincerely want y'all to sound smarter, and feel better equipped and have better frameworks as a result of watching the show. So I'm not going to defend my character. I'm not going to defend who I am. I don't give a fuck. You can think whatever you want because it's the internet. You're going to think what you want anyways, right? The consistency of my character actually does speak for itself. What I care about is bad data. What I care about is being unintelligent when I wanted more for you and Google could have helped you. So once again, for the folks at the back, integrity means a consistency of character. I don't have to agree with your character to admit that you have integrity based on whatever code you live by. Are we good, family? Are we good? We good? Okay. Okay. They think integrity is practiced by the people they like, and that is why we differ. I don't have to like you to admit when you have a W, and I don't have to loathe you to admit when you have an L. Again, that's integrity in action. Yeah? Okay. Now, guys, now that we have done a word of the day, should I do that, like a word of the day? Because I do believe that a lot of times when people are met with cognitive dissonance because someone is making factual sense, they rely on semantics like, well, you had the wrong definition of integrity, because you can't argue with the facts that were presented. So now you have to whataboutism to something else, right? So guys, I love y'all for returning. If you are returning from last week, we have an action-packed show. We have a special guest today. I'm very excited. I just sent him a message telling him that we were going to be running a little bit late. I hope he got the message. Hold on. It was sent from the oh, he's still coming on. Okay, good. Perfect. He just emailed. All right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about a lot of hot topics, so I'm going to have to go really, really fast. 15 minutes was the intro for the Time Check Warriors. 15:15 is when we're starting the first topic. And the first topic today is actually one of my closest friends, Bridget Kelly, because somebody has her fucked up, and I found out about it after the fact. And I was devastated that I didn't find out about it when it happened, because y'all know I'm protective of my friends. I'm protective of my friends. Had I known what was happening, I might have gotten arrested. So maybe that was God. God said, Blue, we just going to have you look to the left while Bridget's being attacked from the right, so that you don't, because Mercury's in retrograde and we all want to fight. By the way, we are doing what they call that, the Tarot Tuesday. We are doing Tarot Tuesday next Tuesday because Mercury retrograde is on a wild one. So me and Bridget and my sister Mel were out in New York the week that I went to tape Joe Budden. And funny enough, I was actually doing another show the same week, and I couldn't do it because it was in LA. That show called me back, and I'm doing it next week. So more on that later. Okay, more on that later. But we were in New York, and we went to this spot called Balthazar that we really love. And we ordered a quick lunch, but I had to leave because I had to catch a flight to Boston. And while we are waiting for my Uber, Bridget crosses the street because New York traffic is crazy. So she can look from one side if the Uber is coming, and I can look from the other. While Bridget and my sister are across the street looking for the Uber, and I'm on the other side, I see a tall, chocolate young man walk up to Bridget. Now, Bridget is a baddie, right? She's a pretty girl with a fat ass. Shout out to you, friend. And so a young man walking up to my friend is no big deal. I'm not really listening because I'm looking for the Uber. And again, I have to go to the hotel to pick up my luggage, then go straight to the airport. So I'm worried about travel stuff. All I keep hearing from across the street, it was a thin street, so it wasn't that far, was, oh, I have a husband, ha ha ha, and like joking with him. So my first thought as a woman is, my friend is being hit on by a man, and she's letting him down easy and still having banter with him because men and misogyny create places where you have to be nice when you let men down, or you might get slapped or somebody might throw acid on you, right? So I'm thinking she got it handled. Mind you, I'm watching them talk while looking at my phone, just checking if she's good and looking at my phone, not realizing what's happening to my friend. Bridget doesn't realize what's happening to her either. She crosses the street. We give a bear hug, do the little thing that we do where we sing the Sound of Music song. We're so gay. Poor Bridget's husband. They are in LA now, and she was over last night, and we were hugging goodbye. We sang the entire So Long Farewell song from the Sound of Music while hugging and swaying back and forth. And when we let go of each other, her husband was just sitting there like, Can we go now? So shout out to Cheech for having to put up. Shout out to Cheech. So she crosses the street. We hug. I get in the Uber. I think everything's fine. Yesterday, while I'm talking to Bridget in the shop, because the candle shop is opening back up next month. We're working in the shop, and she says to me, yeah, it was so crazy when that guy secretly filmed me on that corner. When I tell you, baby, Mercury retrograde. I said, excuse me? And I looked at Bridget, and Bridget has this face that she has when someone's done something fucked up to her, and like she's trying to be brave, but because she's an Arie, to me, she always looks like a baby. It looked like a little kid was telling me that they got bullied at school, but I'm just finally hearing what they're saying. I said, what do you mean a man secretly filmed you? I beg your finest fucking pardon. She's like, you didn't see the group text? I sent it to the group text and said, please report him. Mind you guys don't understand. I go 12 hours without looking at my phone sometimes because I'm constantly editing, filming, taping, making candles. Again, 5 streams of income. I'm constantly busy. So I'm like, no, Bridget, I miss text sometimes because of how much work I do. What the fuck happened? She proceeds to tell me that man across the street had glasses on, meta glasses, and was filming her while hitting on her, and put it up on TikTok as fodder. I said, Bridget, you mean while I was 10 feet away, this nigga was filming you to talk shit and post on TikTok? And I'm just finding out about it. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Heat of 1,000 suns. Relax, Blue. I said, send me the video immediately. I'm about to pull this shit up for the Blue crew. We're going to talk about it because he got us fucked up. Pronouns matter. He got us fucked up. Because now I'm taking it personal. I could have done something to help. I was right there. She's like, Blue, no, you don't understand. I didn't know he was taping. It was meta glasses. He was taping secretly. That shit, somebody said, Mark Zuckerberg. Y'all, for those who were like, Blue, so what? A man called your friend pretty and tried to get her number, and she said she was married. So what's the big deal? And first of all, secretly filming a woman is violating. Secretly filming anybody is violating. I once saw a video, and I almost had it as a story time, but I forgot the person's name. A video about someone who went to go get a Brazilian wax, and their Brazilian waxer, the person doing their Brazilian wax, had on meta glasses. And she was like, I don't want you taping my vagina. And they were like, no, it's not on. I bought a pair of meta glasses Not because I want to secretly film people, but because sometimes when I'm in places like Delta One or like a shishi spot that I want to show y'all, but I don't want to look like the lone black person with a camera acting like a obnoxious influencer. I'm like, damn, I wish I had on the glasses because I could just look around and catch some B-roll and show y'all how beautiful this is before I leave. Like, those are the moments where I want meta glasses. Never in life would I want meta glasses to secretly film people like a fucking creep. Yes, it is totally fucked up. But if you're wondering, Blue, well, how bad was the video? Well, I chose violence. I was going to come on here and cuss him out. Y'all know how I do. I don't play that shit when it comes to my friends. However, he was smart because the video is down. The video is down. I will say this, though. I'm going to show you an example. I need you to understand how egregious this man is. I'm going to show you an example of the kind of videos this young man makes. And you know what? I think God didn't want me to see the video he made of Bridget because I might have had to pop an extra blood pressure pill. Respectfully. Let's look at the ecosystem that we are in, the kind of casually cruel, toxic shit that goes on now, including when it comes to you at a street corner waiting for Uber. I need you guys to think, we were standing at a street corner waiting for an Uber and she still wasn't safe in broad daylight with hundreds of New Yorkers was by us. Let's watch this real clip. This is him doing the same thing to another young lady.
Miss, you dropped something. No, I'm saying you dropped something. Oh my fucking God. Oh, she got ass too. Oh shit.
So his thing is, and mind you, I said that Bridget has a very bodacious bod. Yes. The fact that he's like, oh, she got ass too. I'm scared to even think what he was saying walking up to Bridget. Okay. I told myself I was gonna be chill. So this is the kind of video he makes where he's editorializing, but not just to himself. He knows that he's gonna be pumping this out to his fandom.
Nah, ma'am, you dropped something for real.
Stop picking out.
You get it, bro. The fuck? You dropped something, you fucking dumbass bitch. The fuck? Fuck.
That's, yeah. Yeah. God didn't want me to see her video. Even the screen grab, because you know when you send someone a video that's no longer there, in the group chat, you see the avatar. Me just seeing the avatar of Bridget looking up, not knowing she's being filmed, I saw red. I saw red. Actually, I think I'm seeing red now. Let me calm down. Let me drink my hibiscus tea, y'all. I'm sorry. Which is why when Anaya and the girls on the island say disrespectful for every little thing, I'm like, y'all don't understand what real disrespect. Oh my God. We're getting into that in a second. We're going to get to Love Island in a second. Don't worry, Love Island's part of Hot Topics. Oh, so yes. So if you see this young man and his page is called Tab Naji Video, right? Tab Naji is his name. T-A-B Naji N-A-J-I. Report his shit. I don't give a fuck that he got scared and took Bridget's videos down. Report his shit. That is nasty work. He has a whole feed of these videos. Maybe God wanted him to fuck around with my friends so I could find out that he existed. Tab Naji, you are a nasty incel. All right, let's do the first hot topic. I put this video. It's so funny. As somebody with ADHD, I sometimes put videos in to calm myself down. I knew I was going to take a breath after this. I love how I know me. Somebody said, yes, his whole page, his entire page is him videotaping himself harassing people. His entire page needs to go away. I don't care that he took down Bridget Kelly's video because her special friends reported him. You shouldn't have to be a Grammy award-winning singer for a woman to be safe in the street corner. Tab Naji, you are a nasty piece of work. Ooh, I keep on thinking, what if I had crossed that street with her? The way God keeps on stopping me from getting arrested, it's not because I haven't acted up. I'll tell you that much, okay? I've also had a lot of therapy. Shout out to that. All right. Ooh, wait a minute. I fucked around and put Malibu in my sorrel. I was like, why do I feel okay? Let me drink water instead. Y'all, I thought this was going to be a long live. I didn't realize I did that. So let's play this next video. First hot topic.
We have a new Lizzo blind item.
Lizzo is a flop. That's not what I'm saying. Those are the headlines. If you're new here, I live in Los Angeles, and my good friend Dexter Mayfield has been on the show several times. Dexter is a plus-size dancer who has been on tour with a lot of people and has been on TV shows with a lot of people as a dancer, including Taylor Swift and Lizzo. Also J-Lo. So J-Lo loves him. Taylor Swift loves him. Lizzo even loved him. But Dexter, being the real ass bro that he is cool with some of the young ladies who have allegations against Lizzo. Dexter came on here. Dexter, if you ever want to come back and talk about Lizzo's flop, we could do that. We're not dancing on her grave. We're just saying, funny how them tables turn, huh? Dexter came on here last summer during our recaps and was talking about how he personally knows and understands that Lizzo is someone that we do not need to be applauding for. I know a lot of people, it annoys me, but a lot of people think that I'm supposed to like Lizzo just because we're both fat and black. I need y'all to be a little bit more elevated than that. I'm not supposed to like every random big bitch I see just because we both could have gone to Lane Bryant back in the day. Is Lane Bryant even still open? I don't know. Right? And so this assumption that every plus size woman, particularly black ones, must be little Lizzo stands, it flattens the human experience. It's also incredibly intellectually lazy. I don't actually believe in tribalism. I will call out someone who looks like me in a heartbeat if I think they're wrong. I will also, hold compassion to people who look like me. So it's not like I'm one of those people like, oh, I'm a special magical Negro. It's just that me having allegiance to my community doesn't mean I can't admit that wrong is wrong and right is right when it's really pretty obvious, right? Sexually harassing, I'll use it the British way, harassing people, and doing the things that Lizzo has been accused of is abysmal. Also, Lizzo, in many respects, is seen as insufferable, right? She has one of those personalities that is an acquired taste. I think I might have a personality that's an acquired taste. I had a casting director tell me last week I was likable, and I spent 20 minutes grilling her because I was like, are you sure about that? Because I've always been told by my mother, as a woman, being likable is something that you don't have a chance to really latch onto if you are honest, because the world does not like women who are honest and unashamed. So since I was a little kid, I had given up any thoughts of being likable. I was more worried about being fair, being honest, and being intellectually sound. So to be called likable now at this big age, I was like, baby, likable by who? She's like, no, the world is entering this phase now where people want the truth and they want integrity. There goes that word again, even if it's not packaged and pandering. And I was like, oh, okay. But that's not something that's traditionally likable in a woman. In a man, y'all love this shit. If I was a guy, y'all would love me. But in a woman, it's seen as unlikable. So I'm always remiss to call women insufferable. Lizzo is insufferable. By the way, we share the same loctician. The same person who put in my locks does hers. Shout out to him. I love you. He has nothing but kind things to say about her because she's kind to him. There's a certain group of women who are only nice to gay men and their fans. We'll talk about that on a whole other live. So Lizzo, for all intents and purposes, is someone who is having a huge fall from grace right now. And a part of me feels like it's a karmic lesson that I think and I fear she is resisting learning. Sometimes, that whole thing that says pride comes before the fall. When you are above reproach, and by the way, if you're thinking, well, Blue, aren't you above reproach? I'm not. I admit I'm wrong at least once a day. So that's not true. But if you're someone who finds it impossible to admit that you are wrong, that's often is the time where it's inevitable that you're going to have a decline. And unfortunately for Lizzo, it seems like her time is now. Let's watch this.
This blind item is from Crazy Days and Crazy Night. I have been telling you forever that the one-named singer, rapper, industry plant was never going to succeed. They are done with. And the related article is from TMZ. Lizzo, Truth Hurts as new album flops. Lizzo's new album, Bitch, only sold 2,650 copies.
Now, she called the album Bitch, which made me feel like she was trying to pull a Taylor Swift where she was being subversive. And somebody called me charismatic. Well, I appreciate that. Men call me that on dates. I feel like charismatic is what a man calls you when he realizes he's met his equal. Because it's always after he's done something cheeky and I give him something cheeky right back and he's like, oh, shit. Yeah, we playing tennis, nigga. So charismatic is interesting because I hear that from men the most. And it's always, let me shut up. Yeah, there's alcohol in there because I'm oversharing. But Lizzo for me is going to be an interesting case because this is the thing that's weird. Lizzo's actually talented. I don't like her music. And I can also, because I'm not a hater, understand that she is talented. I always find it funny when someone who has a win, a W, and is talented, lets something as unnecessary as ego tantrums fuck them up. Because when you're talented, you could have just kept evolving as a musician.
In its first week. A huge difference from 2022's.
You guys, did you see that number? Lizzo's album, Bitch, She was trying to call herself bitch to subvert the narrative the way Taylor Swift did when everybody was calling Taylor Swift the snake, and Taylor Swift was like, oh my God, am I the problem? I think Lizzo was trying to do the same thing by calling her album bitch, but bitch only sold 2,650 copies in the first week. That means me, Little Blue Toulouseman with only 50,000 followers on YouTube, sells more candles than Lizzo sells albums. I need you to hear this. I sell more candles than Lizzo sells albums. That's not a flex on me. That's a womp womp on her, right? Lizzo is officially a small-owned Black business.
2022's, is that right? Yeah, 2022 special, which debuted with 39,000 copies. And to top that off, her 3 singles have failed to make an impression on the Hot 100 chart. When asked about her fall off on Twitter, this is what Lizzo said. The industry has changed so much in 3 years. Streaming replaced radio, and I was a radio darling. Not to mention, the very obvious and public attack on my career changed things. And by public attack on her career, I believe she's referring to the lawsuit she's currently in with former backup dancers that are claiming sexual harassment, hostile work environment, and weight shaming. And speaking of the radio darling, someone tweeted this out about Lizzo. So the tea is she allegedly did something that pissed the industry execs and they cut her off. The industry darlings were told not to support her and face similar fate as her if they do. Basically, they're pushing her out. She's done. So first of all, this was Bitch's album cover. So it looks like the graphic designers are also done with Lizzo.
This is the ugliest fucking album cover I've ever seen in my life. I'm trying to imagine me doing that album cover. So she went like this, and then she put up her middle finger, and the middle finger turned into her body. Like, here I am. Your album cover is an ashen hand with you as the personification of a middle finger. Here's the thing. It's ugly more so than stupid, because words mean things. I think the concept could have been really provocative. I'm open to provocative shit, clearly. Yes. It's ugly. It's ugly and tone deaf. This is bad. I'm sorry. I'm having autism right now. This is so ugly. I can't even find prettier words. Oy.
Oh, because you're. Secondly, the music's just bad. If you ever watch.
She's so pretty. Lizzo, you are gorgeous and talented. Look at this girl. She's gorgeous. God gave you all this shit. Why? Ego. It's ego.
In my videos on Lizzo, I have maintained I have never liked Lizzo's music. It's nothing personal. I just don't like them. I think she makes Kohl's back to school commercial music. Target, buy one, get one free commercial music. Maybe you throw her song in a soundtrack of a movie, but it's nothing anyone wants to put on in the car, in my humble opinion. With that being said, Bitch is just a terrible album. I'm saying this as someone who gave it a light listen. It is bad. But the fact remains that people are really sick of Lizzo. If you go to her comment section on TikTok, in the pits of hell. So a Lizzo fall off definitely deserves its own class at USC because we need to study this. I've not seen anything like this. Okay, maybe since Meghan Trainor and Katy Perry, but still, what happened?
Meghan Trainor and Katy Perry, also insufferable.
Lizzo.
Woman. 26 million followers, and I bet you're going to sell 10,000 copies. And I bet you the album was already on clearance at Walmart. Don't fucking piss me off.
I might be the nastiest bitch I've ever lived, but one thing I won't tell you is a lie.
Shout out to this creator. You know I'm all about being, I wasn't wrong. I was just early and popping your shit when like Negro Dominus, your prediction comes true. So this young lady apparently has had her foot on Lizzo's neck since the beginning. Let me see. Her name is Jahelia. Jahelis. Jahelis. And this young lady wants us to know she been knew Lizzo's album was going to flop. And not only was she right, she's more right than she thought. She thought it would only get 10,000 and it only got 2,600, 2,650. How do you have 26 million followers and you sell less than 3,000 albums? That is insane.
I'm not a liar. Call me a hater all you want, but one thing about me, my hating is always accurate as fuck. Actually, in this case, I was being generous because
you guys, I'm about to go to the bathroom before our guest comes, so I'm gonna let her pop her shit while I run to the bathroom.
6K is what you actually hit. 26 million followers on TikTok and you couldn't sell 10,000 copies. Interesting. A fan tweets out says, Lizzo not having a fan base is so weird to me when this woman was literally selling out arenas not even 2 years ago. Like, where did those people go? Lizzo responds and says, I actually can answer this. The industry changed so much in the last 3 years. Streaming replaced radio, and I was a radio darling. That's how my fans discovered my music. Not to mention the very obvious and public attack on my career changed things, but I'm out here doing my absolute best, and you can't knock a bitch for that. I just don't think that she was ever really that organically successful. A lot of her false success was just advertisement being paid for by her label. And when her label pulled away that funding, suddenly the true colors are coming out and the real numbers are coming out. Excuse that you were a radio darling and you're not getting radio play anymore. That's a two-parter, right? And number one being is that you have 26 million followers on TikTok. So I just can't understand, like, how come your fans, 26 million of them, right, can't access your music that way. The second part of it goes back to my original point where it's like, she's like, I'm not a radio darling anymore. It's like, do you know how you become a radio darling? Your label pays for that. You are openly admitting to is that without the label shoving your music down people's throat, people are not voluntarily choosing to listen to your music, which was what my whole point was. I think radio is great for discovering an artist for the first time, but using the excuse as an established artist that the reason why your music is not doing well is because people are not hearing it on the radio, to me it's just evidence that you never truly had a true strong fan base, especially in this point in time when people create these kind of insane parasocial relationships with their favorite musicians and they keep up with them consistently. That's what makes it possible for bigger stars to not even have to do promo. They can just drop and post one thing on Instagram or something and then their albums start charting. Again, the fact that your music has to be shoved down people's throats and like force fed to them is just evidence that nobody really liked your music that much. About the obvious and public attacks on her character, which changed things, I agree. I 100% agree with that, but I discussed it. There was a million and one ways she could have cleaned this up and she was too arrogant to do it the right way. It goes back to what I've said in the past. This is delusion that everybody believes that they should be a personality hire, and this isn't a judgment on her character specifically, or at least not this part. Later will be, but not this part is not, right? The fact that you're not a personality hire does not mean that you're not a bad person. You might be a great person. You might be the most likable and most funny person to your family and to your friends, but not everybody can make a career off their personality. Actually, that's a very rare thing to be able to do. And Lizzo, for what we have seen, has a very, very acquired taste of a personality, but she keeps trying to shove it down her throat that she is a personality hire. And it's like the general public doesn't like your personality. It rubs them the wrong way. And there was a moment here, especially between the gap between albums, for her to rebrand as kind of like this silent powerhouse artist who just kind of giving like the Adele effect, right? Who just kind of came and showed up and showed people the music and would show up places and perform. And then after,
I love that she's mentioning Adele because the one thing that me, Lizzo, and Adele all have in common is that we're Tauruses. And as with most signs, evolved Tauruses and unevolved Tauruses are very different, right? An unevolved Taurus is the stereotype of we always think we're right. We're really stubborn. We never know how to apologize. An evolved Taurus, again, guys, my team, the first thing I tell my team when I work with them, because we just had some new people working at the shop this week, is I always say, you don't work for me, you work with me. Like I will make the executive decisions, but if I make a mistake, if you have an idea, if something makes you uncomfortable, you are completely empowered at all times to tell me if I've unintentionally caused you harm, and I will eat it without having any excuses. Even when I teach classes, I'm horrible at names, right? Part of my, what happened to my ring? Sorry. I just got a jewelry package. So I came back with jewelry and watermelon, child. I'm never beating allegations. But one of my attendees at the workshop, I tell everybody all the time, hey, I'm really bad with names. If I mispronounce your name, I'm giving you permission to correct me at all times. I think names are important. If I mispronounce your name, correct me at all times. You don't have to eat me saying your name wrong just because I have a little brain tick that makes it hard for me to remember names. And there was this wonderful young lady, Ife Chukwu, right? And Ife Chukwu, one time, I was struggling with all the vowels. And I said, can I call you Ife? And she said, no. My name means something sacred, and you have to say the whole thing for you to honor the meaning. And the class was like, oh, I love that shit. I was like, yes, that's amazing. I was so fucking proud of her, right? And so I need you to know, as a evolved Taurus who has learned how to take an L to the point where I invite them, right? I invite being clear about my missteps as early as possible. I tell God every day, if I've seen it wrong, make me see it clearly as quickly as possible. I don't want to be wrong for a long time, convinced I'm right. However, it seems that Lizzo's been wrong for a long time, and rather than taking the L and learning from it as quickly as possible, she continues to dig in her heels and be convinced that the entire world is wrong instead. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that for her.
That would be gone and would go into hiding. There was a moment to create this aura of mystery around you and be this person who only comes out of hiding when it's time to drop music and just shows up in performance places and then keeps her mouth quiet. But you insisted on shoving your personality down people's throats. doing shit like what I was critiquing in this one video, right, where she posted this about Love Island, basically talking shit about Melanie, where I'm just like, if the problem why your career blew up is because people thought that you were nasty and that you were mean and that you were a bully, why would you be posting shit like this? It just kind of proves that point. I have a hard time believing there's a single PR person on this earth who encouraged Lizzo to share more of her opinions, to talk, like, yes, she should talk to the world more. People
said, I doubt there's a single PR person in this world who's ever encouraged Lizzo to share more. I gotta be honest, she ate with that. She ate with that. I don't think anybody is. Oh, by the way, guys, there's like 1,300 of you in here, even though we just got started. Where's my little thing? Because y'all always make fun of the millennials for not wiping our camera lens. Let me make sure I have my little napkin. But no, there's 12 or 1,300. No, 1,300 of you in here. Please like the damn video. Hold on, let me wipe this off. Oh, it still looks the same. Guys, Lizzo is. I'm going to fast forward past Lizzo because I'm going to be honest. I think we've heard enough. This is a video of a fan of hers explaining that she loves Lizzo and hates this album. Because I wanted to be fair, right? I want to be fair, guys. I don't ever want it to feel like we're dogpiling on somebody, even though, you know, it could be said Lizzo was dogpiling on those poor dancers who trusted her and were left unsafe, allegedly. I don't ever want to dogpile. So I said, you know what? Let's be fair and listen to a fan of Lizzo share their thoughts. And that didn't go well either.
Special from top to bottom. It's good. It's that good. Okay.
She's talking about Lizzo's last album and how good it was and how she's a big fan of Lizzo's last album.
And Special, again, I haven't listened to that album in at least a year or so. Like, it's been a while, and I still get that same like warm feeling when I listen to that. But on Bitch, it's literally just like she said, all right, I'm gonna just blindly flip through my composition notebook with all my songs, and that's what's going in there. She goes from one song's title, She Stole My Man, right? And of course, I'm like, when did Lizzo become a pick me bird brain? Because why we writing a song, whether it's sarcastic or not, why we writing a song about She Stole My Man? Immediately.
She said, when did, okay, you guys, this, I intentionally didn't watch the review because I wanted to be fair. Jesus wept. For one of your biggest fans to be like, when did you become a pick me bird brain? I need y'all to understand, we're in a new age right now where there are certain industry tricks that used to work back in the day. The audience is getting smarter and stupider simultaneously. The audience is getting smarter in the sense that they are being equipped with language that they have never had previously, and they have the tools that they haven't had previously. They're also getting dumber because they're being fed through an algorithm, and there's a echo chamber effect, right? A silo effect where whatever you believe, the algorithm makes you believe it even more and doesn't let you see anybody who disagrees with you. And if you see people who disagree with you, it's only because they're so fanatical that their fandom has pushed through the algorithm. That is a scary space to be in. And because the audience is smarter, it is actually possible to have fans who ride or die for you who can still call you out on your bullshit. I don't think Lizzo was prepared for that iteration of celebrity. And again, as someone who has had someone on this show who was on a TV show with her, danced with her, was employed by her, and said, Blue, it's not just allegedly on this end, something in the water ain't clean. I'm telling y'all, I live in Los Angeles. LA is small. When you are a good human, it gets around. When you're a shitty human, that also gets around. A lot of times when y'all see a celebrity who's doing really well in life, you're like, well, this person isn't as talented as the other person. Why aren't they doing as well? Sometimes it's because the person who's doing well, and you can't tell why, is a good human being. And people want to work with them. And they rather work a little bit harder because they enjoy them than the super talented person who's an asshole. I know you guys think that personality doesn't matter in Hollywood. Everybody's a diva. That is a fallacy. Nobody wants to be on set for 16 hours with, to Lizzo's point, a bitch, right? That's what she called her album. And so I think what's happening is, in the same way that it happened to Drake, the same machine that feeds you can also starve you. If I can heal you, I can harm you. If I can feed you, I can starve you. And I don't think Melissa, I'm gonna call you by your government name because Lizzo's not working out for you. I don't think Melissa was prepared for the audience to say, hey, I know that you are a celebrity and these young girls that you allegedly abused are nobodies. We still are. We didn't forget. The North remembers. Okay. Now up next, guys, we have a guest coming up. We are going to be talking about Love Island. However, Wayne, if you can hear the sound of my voice, I actually think I want him to come a segment early, right? We have a Love Island segment at the end because, child, I don't get so much Love Island in me. Y'all are beating the Love Island out of me. I'm not sure I'm coming back. Respectfully, okay? Every time I make sense, y'all say, well, you old bitch, leave. You know what? You got about one more time to tell me an old bitch leave before I actually go. Yes? So I'm not sure I'm coming back for Love Island. So before we get to Love Island, which is going to be the smallest part of this on purpose, intentionally, up until the finale, I can't wait for the finale, child. I cannot wait for the finale. Up until the finale, we're going to have a light touch on Love Island because last week I did a 5-hour masterclass. I've done my due diligence, okay? But today, before we talk about Love Island, I thought it would be cool because Wayne's going to be here to talk about something that I'm not passionate about on either end because for once, I see both sides. I'm going to have Wayne come up because we're going to be talking about India Arie. Y'all are mad at India Arie. I am confusion. Because, by the way, shout out to those of you who hate watch me. I'm going to say this nicely before Wayne comes up because I don't want him to be implicated if y'all clip this because y'all love to clip me on TikTok and I don't want anybody else to catch any strays. Wayne, this is me looking out for you. Y'all keep hate watching me into a different tax bracket and I don't think y'all realize what that means. Every time y'all get mad at me, I pay my mortgage. Relax. Relax. Okay? Relax. I get paid per view. Like tens of thousands of you rushing to cuss me out. I'm getting a check for that. So maybe breathe. Relax. All right. Before we talk about India Arie now, let's do a quick. I asked to my team to make sure that they got some info about Wayne because here's the thing. And I'm going to tell you why I asked Wayne to come on the show before he comes on because I don't want to make him blush because, I'm very direct, y'all. There's been a couple times where I was like, I'm not watching Love Island no more. None of y'all make sense. Everybody sounds stupid. I'm going to bed. And I would see a random video of Wayne like, oh, somebody makes sense. Somebody in a sea of bullshit. Okay, you know what? As long as there's one person who makes sense, I'm going to keep it. And I've had Wayne's clips on this show as life support at least once a week for the last month. And I was like, oh, at some point I should probably have him on. Y'all know I used to have Dominique Morgan's videos on. And one day Dominique was in the audience. I said, bitch, come up. And she just came up and that was spontaneous. In the same way, I have 150,000 unread emails and DMs. I'm one of those. It's hard to get in contact with me at any time. My assistant has to call me 4 times for me to pick up. It just so happened one night as I was about to go to bed, Wayne literally said LOL to a random video. And the notification popped up because I was in Instagram. I don't get notifications on my actual phone. And I was like, oh, shit. And that felt like God. God made me see an LOL. And look at us. We're here. So, guys, please welcome him, Jess Wayne. Please, Jess Wayne, my ass. I'm going to put you face. Wayne, welcome to the show. Oh, wait a minute. You're muted.
There we go. I muted myself. I'm excited to be here.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm so happy we're all in this together.
Yes, exactly.
Wayne, I have so many questions because I have been so nervous to have anybody come on talk. Mm-hmm. Before we talk about India Arie, I want to ask you a quick question about Love Island.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start watching Love Island?
Last season.
Oh, so you're one of the newbies who got pulled in.
I'm new. So I'm watching season 6 concurrently right now. And I'm like, oh, this show is dope. That show's dope. What we got right now, but that show was dope. Okay, maybe they'll circle back around to that, but this, yes, I'm new.
So you see what we've lost.
Absolutely, and I blame Huda.
Last year, I said my fear was going to be that Huda was going to come back as a man or a black person. It was going to be a polarizing person because Huda's obvious, right? Yeah. Someone who's obvious. Actually, we've already talked about it. There's been studies that have said that frenemies are more dangerous than enemies. Mm-hmm. Because an enemy is obvious. You need to keep an enemy out.
Yeah.
But someone who is relatable and could have been your cousin, you might let them sit at the table first before you're like, oh no, there's harm being caused.
Exactly.
Okay, but we're gonna table that for a second. I'm so excited. Okay. First, we're going to talk about India Arie. Before I pull up the clips, have you seen any of the discourse? Because I was so busy fighting for my life about Love Island. I just found out yesterday that y'all hate India Arie all of a sudden.
Yeah, I saw her response. So her and I are mutuals on Instagram. Don't ask me how that happened. It just happened.
It happens.
And I saw her response and I was like, y'all not mad at India. Of all people. How? And I understand there's a larger conversation that we can't seem to escape from around respectability politic, and like it's a constant thing.
Yeah.
And somehow folks get thrown into that. So I'm with you. I just started to see it in the last 72 hours or so.
It has gotten nasty. And what's wild is our friend Kevin, and we love Kevin. He has that, here's why Kevin is his page.
Yes.
He posted something about how Carisha is someone who is a harbinger of chaos in his opinion, because she's a Diddy apologist. She wrote a letter in support of him even after the video came out, X, Y, and Z. And so it's a little bit tricky caping for her in that song, as catchy as it is, because she's had a problematic past that is very, very well known.
For sure.
I was like, Kevin, you made a good point. And then India Arie said, yeah, it took me a while to realize that not everybody wants to be free. And sometimes we say that we're all revolutionaries, and then where we put our dollars says something different.
For sure.
I'm thinking it's a regular conversation.
I don't think we can have those anymore.
For those who are here, we're going to play a quick video to catch you up. Hold on. Let me see if we can add this. Remove this. Add this.
Song. She flips it on.
We're going to fast forward past Lizzo, child. Do you have anything you want to say about Lizzo before we fast forward past the Lizzo discourse?
I think that Lizzo was a representative of something more than she was a musician. And I think that she has ceased to represent the thing that she used to represent.
Oh my God, that is beautifully stated. A bit of a read. You did read her.
I don't think that, I think her music was never amazing, but she meant something. But she meant something, and the music was, we could tolerate the music because she represented something from an empowerment standpoint. Yeah. But once that's not there, she doesn't have the musicality to back up not being the empowering figure anymore.
That's actually beautifully stated. That you wrapped that up better than I could. I appreciate you for being here because I'm tired. A quick question: when is your birthday? Because we do zodiacs here. We're one of them. One of those.
I'm an Aries, March 29th.
Oh my. Okay. I'm gonna text Bridget. So there's a joke that everybody I work with is an Aries, and I'm trying to get out of it. And here you come. Help! Okay, I'm never reading the allegations. My entire team is Aries and one Virgo who I hold on to.
Listen, my partner is a Virgo, so I don't get anything done without her. That's part of it. Is she's able to be like, yeah, I know you want to start this right now, but also let's make sure that we actually count the cost. So it's, yes, I understand.
The Aries' ability to find an earth sign to latch onto for safety is, if you are Aries out there, just know that you are the baby of the zodiac, and earth signs represent safety for you. We are like human binkies. And so as somebody, I just wanted to make sure I understood what kind of time you want. Okay, so you with the shits. This is going to be fun.
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to watch what's happening here with India Arie, because both Wayne and I just found out 17 minutes ago that y'all was even mad. Right. And here's the thing I will say. When I do this thing where I'll get the clips and I'll listen to the first sentence and make sure they have a little bit of sense or what their perspective is. For sure. But I intentionally don't watch the rest because I want us to have a live reaction. I will say this. I kept on changing my time every time somebody talked. Do you have an opinion so far before we start? Do you have an opinion?
No. I mean, like I said, I think that discourse just be discoursing for the sake of, but I'm interested to see. Okay, let's try to chat. This poor lady in her bonnet has been staring at us the entire time. Let's start
immediately. Okay, bye.
You can be right and be a hater, and India Arie is a correct hater.
Now, I heard this sentence and I said, I must have this included. Do you agree that you can be right and wrong simultaneously?
For sure.
Have you ever been right and wrong simultaneously?
Absolutely. And listen, I think the difference with me is I will say, oh, no, I am hating, but I know I'm right, too. Like, no, I'm being a hater, but I'm accurate. There might be a little extra on that. Like, I'm sprinkling hatred on it, but I'm correct. So
I'm salty and you suck.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this young man, now I'm about to profile real quick, because this is the fun part about when I don't have an opinion. Because usually when I have an opinion, I'm so ready to be. You know earth signs.
Yes.
I'm a triple Virgo and a Taurus sun, so I be meaning shit, Wayne. Okay,
I get it.
Okay, I'm so used to being 10 toes down because I don't have an opinion. This gets to be light for me because I don't know the answer. Mm-hmm. I will profile him and say, based on how good his skincare is and the hoodie, I think he might be a Carisha fan.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't know.
Okay.
All I heard was You could be right and wrong simultaneously. All right, let's see.
Mad. And I think that it's weird when people will big up somebody that is saying something out of jealousy, envy, and rage at their own situation. Just because it's correct, we don't need to be promoting scamming. And this type of culture doesn't mean it's inauthentic and doesn't mean that it's not a valid expression of artistry, right? We don't want to hear about bald-headed natural hair from Young Miami. Like in India's own music, she's talked about how she's not the girl from the video, she's not a supermodel, she's not this, but she's her. And it's like, girl, if you have to keep saying it, you have to keep convincing yourself, then like by all means do that. But not everybody ascribes to that type of politic. See what I'm saying? And I think so many people are hung up on like not being coons that they kind of flatten other black people in the public square where it's not just black people looking, causing division. Young Miami, Aquarius, has gone through and experienced some of the most horrific public humiliations and betrayals back to back to back to back. I'll never speak against my sis. I'm just like, the way that people feel so comfortable just raking her over the coals, it's because she's beautiful. It's because she's not the darkest, and it's because she's an Aquarius, right?
Wait, it's because she's beautiful. It's because she's not the darkest. It's because she's an
no,
Aquarius.
no,
Wait,
no,
help
no,
me. See in the sea. I'm gonna reach for you. Wait, help me. Hold on.
First of all, this song, because the issue is the song, right? Like that's the problem. The problem is the song.
Beautiful.
Everything stems from how you feel about the song.
Right.
Which, like, let's just be real. The song is what it is.
It's catchy.
It's catchy. It's not
revolutionary. I'm not sure being catchy is enough for me.
Listen, the first time I heard it, I was like, it was funny. It's the first time I heard it was actually her explaining the lyric on Genius. And I was like, is this actually a song? Is this what we're doing? So yes. And also, I think what's fascinating is the conversation really that he like started to touch on and then left.
Yeah.
Is about the universality of the Black experience and who gets to represent Blackness within music. What does it mean to sing and make a song that actually is reflective of Black culture? How does that work? Which is silly because there isn't a universal Black experience in music
at all.
And so if I dislike, or if India dislikes the song, India has the right to dislike the song. If someone else likes the song, they have the right to like the song. And I think, at least from the spot I sat in, India is responding to a discourse that was already happening. She didn't start.
Yeah, Kevin started a conversation and she just responded to Kevin.
But to flip it and go, the problem is that India ball-headed.
I'm so sorry.
Like, that's crazy. Like you started down the path of being able to make a valid, what could have been a valid point, and then flipped it just, well, Young Miami pretty and you ugly. Like, that's crazy.
And she's not the darkest. What does that even mean?
That was wild to me. I was like, nodding along, like, okay, I'm hearing you. And you not that cute. Like,
and I'm an Aquarius, and y'all just hate Aquariuses who are not the darkest. Okay, we're gonna let him. We're gonna vote. Do we let him land the plane, or do we just go to the next video? The show is so unserious. What do you think?
I was not prepared for she pretty in an Aquarius. Like, come on.
Okay, I'm gonna let him land the plane because now I must know how you land this plane. When you start from making sense and Harry's, we can be right and wrong at the same time. And me and we're like, oh my God, that's a great point. You bald-headed and she. Okay, let's let him
apologize, and that's what they don't like about us. But the time for all that mealy mouth black bullshit is over. So we're sick of y'all. If you want to go and get.
Wait, he's speaking French now. Who is we?
Yeah, that's the part that threw me. Us and we. So you see yourself as, so now this is no longer, it's an identification issue.
He's over-identifying with Carisha, and so he's taking it personal.
Which I know we're not talking about it yet, but you and I both, I think, agree on this is the issue with the other show that we be talking about.
This is why this was the perfect segue, because I was like, if y'all are pitting India Arie versus Carisha, it has to be personal. Because there's no world where that's a real, okay, there's no
your
world.
Afro Barbie doll, right? And you want to talk about how great it is to be Black, then do that. But when you have to tear down other black people to do that, are you really as pro-black and radical as you say? You can pull this girl to the side and talk to her contextually. All the stuff that goes on around this girl, you didn't think, oh, woman to woman, black woman to black woman, black industry elder to young lady. Let me talk to you on the side and let's see what we can do. I'm glad they're making fun of her because she's a fucking hater. You're a hater. You're a hater. You hate women. You hate black women that don't look like you.
This is the same thing they say about Anaya. Wayne, are you seeing how this is a pattern? It's not just Love Island.
Which is, I've been trying to say, like this, we're not talking about these people any longer. This is not a conversation about actual individuals. This is discourse, and we're using these people as caricatures in the discourse that we're having.
They're avatars now.
Yes.
They're just the Barbie dolls that we have fighting with each other. Okay, I'm gonna fast. Is he done?
You revel and.
I'm gonna. Okay, we're gonna.
Ever been to a party? Everybody been drunk. Everybody's drunk.
Okay.
And somebody just screams out, "You guys need water." We don't want it. We don't like how it tastes. Yeah.
This can't be the argument. So this is the second time that they're saying y'all right, but y'all still suck. She said the analogy for India Arie, for those who didn't catch it, is you ever been to a party, everybody's drunk and having a good time, and then a killjoy says, probably somebody's mama, y'all need some water. We don't like water. We don't like how you're gonna die without water though. Like,
yes. I'm that person with my friend group. Hey.
Oh, that's you. Wait, you look cute.
No, because here's the thing. I'm 36. If we out, we can't just be out drinking like that. Somebody got to drink some more. I'm not going to be hungover tomorrow. So, yes. And also, once again, I think this is like a consistent thing. I heard this argument a ton during the Kendrick versus Drake beef.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's a lot of that's scaring the hoes music. Who anybody ever put on Ken? And it's like, but they make different types of music. They actually do vastly different things. And if Kendrick has a critique of some of the ways that Drake moves, it's not anti-black. It's a critique of some of the ways that Drake moves. If India has a critique of this song, it's a critique of the song. It's not a critique of blackness as a whole. And the fact that y'all can't like condense it to that bothers me.
Wait, something about to tell him, get the hell off my lawn. We're about to wait. We have a question. The song is catchy, and you like it or not. Has India critiqued other rappers? Just curious. Does she have to? If she was answering a comment,
like it's possible she has.
I
remember the moment where Dionne Warwick pulled Snoop Dogg.
She did,
and was like, "Say the B word one more time. Say it. I want you to." And they was like, "Yes, Miss Warwick."
Dionne Warwick she got some good edibles. I could tell. As somebody who lives in California, she has some good legally obtained edibles. I can tell. Do they have good edibles in Minneapolis?
Yeah. Yes. But what's funny is, quick aside, Democratic lawmakers snuck the legalization of edibles into a budget, and Republicans didn't read it. So overnight, edibles became legal here. And Republicans had no clue that they passed it. The next day, everything blew up. It was like, oh, we could do it now. Oh, that was the funniest thing. It was on the news like we didn't even know. And it's like, how did you not read the bill?
Wayne, have you been having fun since that law passed?
Listen, yes.
Okay, I can see it in your eyes, Fred. Have I ever? Question. We've not heard two young people. This clip was shorter, but I'm praying that somebody makes sense. We're gonna see what I think she's done because I think she's drunk now. I think somebody just told her drink some water. This might be live from another bitch's business. So let's.
Yeah, we don't like how water tastes.
I love this one.
India Arie is hating on Young Miami Spin That. I just woke up from a nap and seen this and had to speak on it because I was instantly irritated because I'm trying to figure out what about an India Arie would make you think that she would be in support of a song like Spin That. This is the same India Arie that made Brown Skin, a song encouraging black women to love their brown skin. That's the type of music that she makes, black empowering music. So nothing about a song encouraging scamming would be something that she would be in support of. And her not being in support of a song like that would not automatically make it be her hating. Like I could see if this was one of Young Miami's counterparts who do rapping just like her and they came out talking about the song, then I would be like, yeah, they probably hating. But India Arie, no, it would make total sense that she wouldn't like a song like that. She never.
That's actually true. That is a consistency of character.
Yes.
When I want you to do me a favor, they want you to say, "Can we pull up the lyrics to Spend That?" While the video continues, can you look them up and orate for us when we're done?
For sure.
I love this show because first of all, now we got Wayne P, a producer. Welcome, welcome to the Blue Crew. You have to jump right in. I will say, guys, again, all I'm hearing is the kids are mad because India Arie responded to a comment section and said not everybody wants to be free, and that's why they say they want freedom but are listening to booster scammer music. And then the millennials are saying, well, it's India Arie. What did y'all expect? That's all I'm hearing thus far. And I think everybody's making that first young man lost me around Aquarius and not the darkest and bald headed. He lost me a little bit, but so far, okay.
Told anybody to boycott the song, she got just as much right to speak on not liking something as anybody else who get on this internet and give their unsolicited opinion about not liking stuff.
Yeah.
Right? She didn't say you had to boycott the song. She said that music got power. The words in the music got power, and it does. Right now, we in the midst of y'all being in lives with Woo Lady, encouraging you to come down to Miami and either get on board with helping scam or end up in some type of prostitution ring.
Oh my God.
So yeah, the music do got power. Right? Y'all are influenced by the music because you be simple and stupid. So she absolutely right in what she was saying. And that's not hating. It's the truth. Y'all just don't like the truth. It ain't no different than when y'all attack me for going against Sexy Red. Women like her, they need representation. They need representation until y'all are a stereotype and non-black people are using those stereotypes against you. And then you want to bring up all the college educated black women. Then you want to bring up all of the black women that own businesses. No. Bring up the Sexy Reds. Bring them up. Stop using the college educated, business owning, productive black women whenever people want to throw up stereotypes about you. Right? Stand 10 toes down and all of that representation of.
Okay, so why is everybody right and wrong simultaneously? She was making sense, and then I felt like she wanted to put out a belt and beat somebody.
Yes.
What do you think about what she said? Because she actually might be what they're talking about when she says it veers into respectability politics a little bit.
Right. And I think that's the thing. It's like, if we could actually deal with the issue, which is, here's a song. India Arie was like, yeah, I don't feel like it represents freedom.
Yeah.
That's it. As soon as we get into,
we should agree that it doesn't represent freedom, right? It doesn't represent freedom, does it?
I mean, the song says, where are all my scamming ass niggas at? Spend that money fast. 20, 50s, 100s, cash. Boy, go and get that bag. Or is it Goyard bag? In that Goyard bag. Listen, I can read. I just don't know what that word was. Boosting bitches, where y'all at? Stuffing that shit in y'all bag just to flip it, pop some tags. Go get in that Goyard bag. Spin that shit. Spin that shit. And listen. But once again, I think it goes to, this is a conversation we've been having.
The lyrics are bad. Like, can we admit the lyrics are on some bullshit?
For sure. But it's a conversation we've been having about hip hop since ever. I mean, like, the entire time hip hop has existed, there's been an argument of like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be promoting drug dealing, right? Like, I got let God sort them out right behind me, right? Pusha T and them still talking about like bricks and kilos, like you know. So,
how do you feel about that though? As someone who is old enough to understand hip hop pre-TikTok era, how do you feel knowing that there's music that you are? Perfect example. I ran into Too Short last week at a function. Yeah. Long story. Blow the Whistle is my spirit song.
Yes.
If I could walk into the room and have any song play upon entry, it would be Blow the Whistle. I walk up to him and we're having a conversation and he's explaining to me, he's like, no, there's something about the beats. He's thought about this. He has an actual theory about why that song resonates. He's like, no, even babies will stop crying when they hear it. You don't understand. Like, he's very passionate about Blow the Whistle. Now, as someone who is an academic who gets paid to give an opinion, I understand what's my favorite word. Beach is not my entry.
Why you gotta say it like Short?
Beach? Like, I get it, right? And yet I'm never going to stop singing Blow the Whistle.
For sure.
How do you reconcile that with yourself?
I think that I try to examine whether a person is being a reporter or whether they are being an exalter of an idea, right? So I understand, like, I've always looked at Jay-Z as like Ghost from Power. Like,
oh wow, explain.
Like, he didn't really want to be in the drug gang. It's just the way that he was able to make money, to rinse it, to start Rockefeller Records. So like I've viewed Jay through that lens. And also I'll name, there's a egoic arc for Jay-Z that I respect. Right. So like I watched his ego grow and grow and grow and grow and then crash and then him build himself back up. And I think that example is necessary for Black men. I feel the same way about Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
And so I'm always asking that question. Are you being a reporter or are you exalting the thing? My son will be 14 tomorrow. I listen to what he listens to.
Early, friend.
I got married too early, had kids too early. It's
14, my God. I want to get a dog. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But I listen to the stuff he listens to. I'm always asking what he's listening to. I don't let him put it on the aux in the car because that's my car. But I'm always curious when he's in his room. And there are times where I'm listening to a lyric and I'm trying to figure out, is this person reporting their experience? Are they telling you this is what we're experiencing? Or are they telling you to go do the thing? And I can't deal with, I struggle with the guys who are encouraging you to go, like Jay says, you don't go sell drugs. That's what Hove did.
That's true. That's very true.
So I think that there's that element for me is like, how do I differentiate between that? Now, does this song come off as exaltation? Absolutely.
Well, she's literally saying, spin that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but then I have to ask the question, like, is it being a parody? Like, is she making like
she's not in on the joke, Wayne.
I know, but see, that's the thing, is I get too deep.
She believes that shit.
When we talk about justification, that's where I get it. I start getting deep and being like, okay, how can I justify this? Oh, it's a joke.
No,
if I like it.
She's not like, you know what? Let me be subversive. I promise you, Carisha's not. I will say this. There was one time when I was living in Northwest DC, and I had partaken of some legally obtained edibles, and I was hanging out with some friends, and I was listening to Ray Schmurder. What do they call people? Ray, what's the name? I can never say their
Bobby
name.
Schmurder?
No, the two boys look like Polly Pockets. That song called I'm about to empty out the ATM. Do it. What song is that?
Oh, yeah.
What song is that?
I can't think of the artist though.
Blow some more.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne, I emptied out my ATM. I did it. No, I did it. And I was singing it as I was pressing the buttons.
Not Ren and 10 to Hip Hop Dalmatians.
So I'm a struggle. Yeah, Ray. I can't read that. You say it. Ray, yeah, them. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
What is that? I said blow some more. And yeah, bad bitch. Yeah, it's Nicki Minaj too. And you know, Nicki Minaj is very talented before we realized that she was had a chemical imbalance. So I always remember, because for a whole summer, I was dead broke because I got an edible in me listening to Blow Some More. And they told me to empty out the ATM, and my dumb ass was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going out this week." I had no money way back then. I had no money. I will say this: I was also at the time like 30, so I wasn't a child.
Right.
That's to say, these songs, and this is not me coming for India or for or against, because I'm still on the fence. They are mantras. They are mantras.
Intentional.
And however, there has to be free will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it, is when we have the conversation around like, what are we celebrating? What are we chanting? You know, the joke about like these songs, if they play in the club, someone's going to fight.
Yeah.
Right. Like they knucking and bucking and ready to fight.
I do get violent. Dreams and nightmares. Call
Listen, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished.
I lose my shit.
So I think that there's an element to that.
Yeah.
And the hard part then is sometimes having those conversations in close company.
Yeah, that's true.
Because close company says, like, I'm not gonna say something that's gonna give white folks the ability to be anti-Black in the way that they approach this conversation.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. It's hard in the internet era to have close company conversations.
My thing is then the conversation with the more radical youth, like Gen Alpha, is like, fuck the white people to begin with. We don't care.
Yes.
That's the okay. So this is Quentin, Funky Geneva, aka Quentin. Child, I call him Quentin in real life in my phone. Quentin, I don't know his take. His thing about Funky Dineva. Whenever I do any videos with him, the last time I did the video with him, it went viral, but I got a lot of hate mail, good mail too. So we are going to listen to what Funky Dineva has to say. What I'm telling you right now, I have no idea what this man's about to say.
Okay.
We're walking into this blind. We're all
Perfect.
in this together. I tend to think that Funky Dineva has more nuanced takes than he gets credit for. I feel like when he's being provocative is when he goes viral, but he is someone who I think is sensible. Let's take a bet. Who do you think side he's going to be on? India Arie? Not just about this is like wrestling. Whose side is he going to be on? India Arie or Carisha? Who do you think?
Are you asking me? Or you asking chat?
I'm asking you.
I'm gonna go with India.
You think he's gonna be on India's side?
Listen, because I think that's actually the more subversive take right now.
That's true, and he does like to be a provocateur. Let's see. Oh wait a minute. The volume is down.
This is another one of those situations where I'm going to have to hold several truths at one time.
Oh, okay.
I am extremely proud of Young Miami, okay? Because I know exactly where she comes from. I know, her upbringing. I'm very familiar with her style of upbringing in Miami. And the world says girls that come from where she came from and who was raised, how she was raised, were never going to amount to nothing, never be anything. And she has found critical acclaim and success.
I'm going to pause for a second. So it seems like he's starting first by saying that as someone from where she's from, he's proud of her. And somebody wrote at the same time, conservatives are having so many conversations on their news about us being bad citizens, and she creates a theme song. Ooh, what do you think about that?
I don't disagree. I think that,
everybody, I feel like a Libra right now. You all make sense to me. Go ahead.
I think there's a space too where, like, in this economy, and I think in the space that we're in, we're constantly having to have a conversation about what it looks like to fly under the radar.
Yeah.
And this is not that. Like, I think that there is, like, especially during the Trump administration, where we're seeing an increased police presence across the board.
Yeah,
we're seeing more of a focus from law enforcement on us, on all Black and brown folks.
Yeah.
And that's why I say close company conversations. Does this become a thing where conservatives go, oh, see, they're scammers. Now we're going to crack down on this type of activity, especially in a place like Atlanta or in a place like Miami, where, and we already know, like, Atlanta's respectfully one of the scammingest places I've ever been. Like, I've seen folks do stuff in Miami. I'm like, in Atlanta, and I'm like, how did you pull that off?
Atlanta is to America what people in the continent, not the country, the continent of Africa often say about Nigeria. And I had Nigerian friends tell me that. I've had my Nigerian friends say that, oh, not my earring fell off. Was that God?
That's what it was.
Right. But, like, I've had my friends in Miami say, no, like, Atlanta is the Nigeria in their terms of America, because it feels like a place that's dog eat dog. There's all these social economic reasons why people feel like they have to be scammers for survival. But here's where things get tricky. We don't want to be singing "Where All My Scamming Ass N-Words At," spin that shit in this ecosystem of politics where we're being seen as flattened, one-dimensional monsters, right? And however, is that still a way to justify centering the white gaze? For sure.
And I think, is there an equivalency between the scamming of today and the drug dealing of yesterday?
Right.
Because I think the thought process was, you deal drugs not because you think drugs are good, but because it is the only way that you can make money in the, George Bush economy as a Black person living in wherever, in New Orleans, for example. And
it's tricky.
It is.
It's very tricky. I'm going to let Quentin continue. So far, here's the thing. Either he's saying this because he's about to do the opposite afterwards, or he's going to be caping Carisha and surprise both of us.
I'm feeling like it's the fluffing before the truth.
He's a wild card. As a wild card myself, he might not even know what he's about to say next. Okay. All right. Let's see, child. I got a backup earring. Don't worry, guys. I got emergency earrings on deck.
That's number one. Second thing that I want to say is India Arie speaking on Young Miami's song is the same reason why I do not comment on other YouTubers.
Same.
Because you see what happened.
I don't like to when people try to mention other YouTubers in my chat. I say that's them, and I respect their hustle. Please don't put us against each other, because I used to make these amazing videos with Jesse Wu. We had such a great time. Within a month, they were trying to put us against each other, even though we had no beef.
Yeah,
they hate to see people work together. So I actually adamantly agree. Do you sometimes feel tricky commenting on other commentators because of that weird ecosystem?
Yeah, I try my best not to talk about other content creators just as a whole. Like I will talk about issues, I'll talk about discourse, but I also know how it feels to be the subject of discourse. And
really?
Yes.
You got in trouble, Wayne? I thought you were supposed to be the teacher's pet.
Yes, I got in trouble one time. But here's the difference. So I got in trouble with white folks.
Oh, that's different.
That was scary, because black folks will talk mess about you online. White folks will find where you work.
True.
So,
and let's continue. That's a great. You shut me up. I have no pushback about you.
And I'm pretty sure India Arie is sitting somewhere now saying, all this ruckus and all this stress that's coming my way was not even worth it for me expressing this opinion that I could have just kept to myself. So I'm going to start there.
Okay.
While I do believe and I understand how some people can feel the way that India Arie feels about the Young Miami song, with you being another musical artist, a small amount of it feels like you hate him. It does. A small amount of.
Well,
I don't get hater from it.
I'm shocked. So Quentin thinks India Arie might be a bald-headed hater. What do we think about this?
I don't like. That's the thing is, I don't think India Arie is in a position where she needs to, because she's not in competition with Young Miami.
Really? Okay. Well, you know, the new thing is that anybody who's over the age of 35 is hating on the millennials and hating on the Gen Zs and the alphas and don't want to pass the torch. So just being over 35 makes you a hater, apparently, these days.
Sure.
This is bizarre.
I think one of the big differences is that we actually interacted with the generations above us.
We had to, because we didn't have the internet like that. It was
so we actually had to like interact. They want to show up and just be like, we're here now.
Is ageism the new war? You know, they have a new identity war every 5 minutes. First it was gender, then it was xenophobia, then it was light skin versus dark skin. Now it's what year were you born? Were you born in the 1900s? Hiss, and I'm just like, y'all can't keep doing. First of all, the 1900s is disrespectful. So y'all need to stop saying that.
Yeah.
Wayne and I did not have a horse and buggy. Okay.
Listen, I'm always like, I grew up with the internet. Don't play me. Like I was on Black Planet.
I mean, I had the Oregon Trail, but still, it was the internet. So Quentin is in our age group, so I'm a little. Let me let him land the plane. Maybe he's okay. So he thinks India's a hater.
It feels like you are hating. It does. It really feels like you've seen this girl get this big, massive hit with a song that you morally object to, which is your right, and you feel away. That's that. Now, as it relates to the song, okay?
By the way, this R&B, I had to find a non-copyright version. That's why it keeps up.
Listen, you know how many people have made hits that could be morally objectionable in the last several years?
Baby, It's Cold Outside is about like not wanting somebody to leave their house and holding them hostage on Christmas. I really can't stay. Baby, it's cold outside. Sit your ass down. Like that's a Predator Christmas song. So yes, most of the songs.
So the idea of being like she has this massive hit, which like it is a hit, but like we're gonna sit here and pretend like we weren't just last summer saying I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? We weren't just saying it's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees. Jeez. Like, we're not going to sit here and pretend like this. Oh my God, no female rapper or singer has had a big hit recently. We're not going to pretend like we wasn't just sitting there just 5 years ago talking about I'm a savage, classic, bougie, ratchet. We're not going to sit here and pretend like we wasn't talking about there's some whores in this house a second ago. Like, every summer there has been a big hit from a woman.
Okay, you're making me feel like a bird because every song you've quoted, I want to make a movement, and I'm like, am I the problem?
No, but I'm saying like those. My point is, to pretend like, oh, this would be the song that India Arie would hate on because she doesn't like someone else getting a hit, as if there aren't consistency of hits that have had the similar kind of moral objection, is just like, it's absurd. Of course someone else has a hit. India's not chasing a hit.
She's not chasing a hit. She's actually not. And we have to be, I think, honestly, I'm surprised that Quentin took that take, but also he might be in a echo chamber of really good points being made. And maybe him saying it feels like hate is because the points are making him feel like hate more so than the comment itself.
For sure.
Now this motherfucker, okay, I don't know who this is, y'all. I'm apologizing in advance because he looked like he likes some trouble. I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I put wild cards in here because I'm a wild card. Let's see what he says. Yeah. I feel like, you know what? He's probably gonna do something where he gives everybody grace, but also talks a little bit of shit. We profile here, Wayne, because we want to see how much bias.
Listen, I do it too. I'm just always concerned about what my profile is. I'm like, so what they go?
Oh, they're going to tell you. You know what? Because you are someone who tends to, and this happens to me a lot. When you are someone who's trying to be sensible to all sides and also be objective with your reasoning, they call you a simp, or they say you're pandering because you're not attacking the side that doesn't look like you.
Yes. No, I had at one point a collection of black men who decided that not only am I pandering, but there's no way I have ever loved a woman, because how could you ever take a woman's side in this? I'm like, first of all, don't leave your girl around me to play for real.
Okay, wait.
What's
happening?
First of all,
this show is off the hinges. What is happening?
Second of all,
these lyrics are next. That was happening. You just have all these lyrics in a row.
Yes, no, I have a radio playing in my head at all times.
Are you sponsored by ADHD like the show?
Yes, absolutely.
This show is sponsored by ADHD. So Wayne is saying he is not gay, even though be who you are for your pride.
Listen, two of my, not mean to be like I have a black friend, but like two of my best friends in the entire world are black gay men, and they have mattered more to me than almost anybody else in my life. So I'm always like, me saying I'm not gay is not saying don't be gay. It's saying your gaydar is off. And also, why are you looking so hard?
Be gay. It's just not Wayne.
So
okay, speaking of gay, and let's not profile this man for that, but he seems like he's going to have a quick. Honestly, I will say this: there's only one video that I watched in its entirety because it threw a monkey wrench in this that fucked my head up. So we're keeping it light because there is some heavier videos coming. Okay, this is almost like I'm giving you an appetizer before she gets heavy.
India Arie didn't actually call for a boycott or spend that by Carisha.
Why are they using the word boycott? He's right. She didn't call for a boycott. I just want to point that out for anybody who's new here or who's coming on late. India Arie did not call for a boycott as much as I know. Wayne, since y'all mutuals, did you see her call for a boycott?
I did not. She responded to a comment and moved on.
Okay, I just want to make sure because the boycott thing is just a fallacy at this point.
You just said that it's reflective of the culture, which it is. Exactly. That's why it's a hit song. That's why it's doing well. That's why people are singing it. If something has caught on with the general culture in the zeitgeist, that is a reflection of the culture and of the times. So India Arie was probably at home. She looked up from her incense when her playlist of Donny Hathaway and Londrell suddenly slipped there. Young Miami's spitting that. And she was like, is this of the times? And Young Miami was like, yeah, exactly. Run those streams up. That's why I put it out. And now everybody on the internet got a PhD in spiritual vibes, because India Arie is like, what you listen to affects you. And she's not wrong, because that song do sound like is kind of made by people that really got it out the mud. Like, I'm not talking about the lyrics. I'm talking about the sound of it. It just sounds scrappy. It sounded like it was made in the basement. And maybe that's what people like about it. But like, what I'm really saying is everybody on the internet is like, oh, India Arie was right. Or like, I mean, it's not that deep. And it's kind of like, you're both right. You're actually both right, and neither one of you care about what the other thinks. There are some people that are listening to that song on the way to the grocery store. They just role playing. They wish they still the girl. And then there are some people who are like, I don't want that in my spirit. Exactly. Some of y'all are only hanging on by a thread. Y'all probably shouldn't listen to Spitting That, because y'all very susceptible. Y'all need India Arie to save y'all out. Know yourself. Some of you know how to play, and some of y'all don't.
Every time. Every time.
The show's not serious, Wayne. Have you not picked that up? You should have known you were in trouble when I tell you all my friends are Aries, okay?
Listen, you know what? I knew I was in good company. I knew I was going to be just fine when you said that.
So what do you think about his point where he's like, some of y'all are going to shoot and rob somebody, and some of y'all don't give a fuck, and none of y'all care what the other one thinks anyways? It's a little cavalier, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme, like I said, I know a lot of people are trying to be a little bit comedic and talking about India, and I'm like, not too much of my girl now.
That's true. She's actually a icon living.
Yes. And I think that, yes, there are some people for whom that is, they're not thinking about it. It's just, okay, it's on. It's a bop. All right, cool. There's some people who are like, this is my anthem because it's my anthem. And there's some people who are like, I don't like that. I don't want that in my spirit. And all three of those folks get to have that perspective.
That's true. I think the point of contention is when the conversation becomes, here's the thing. I get India's point entirely.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the job of the youth is to think everybody who came before them is an idiot. Mm-hmm. Everybody thinks everybody else is stupid when they're 20, and then they become 40 and say, oops, my mama might have been onto something. That's just the tale as old as time, right? Yes. Part of aging is thinking everybody before you was a dumbass. I think, though, the internet, though, has allowed it to be weaponized in a way where people are making really lasting impacts on how they are perceived by the public on a fleeting chapter of their lives that they, if they are lucky, will outgrow. If you're lucky, you'll get old enough to be the old bitch you're talking shit about right now.
For sure.
That's what makes me nervous, because what's the long game of saying everybody over 35 sucks if you're hoping to someday be over 35 yourself?
Yeah, it's eventually that's going to come back to you. You're going to.
It will be your turn to be called a dumb bitch.
And someone younger than you is going to tell you that you're crazy. And that's just the consistency of it.
If you're blessed enough to live long enough. By the way, shout out to the creator who made this clip that we've been cutting up, because I like this version better than the original, to be honest.
I support our.
And this is where shit got funky. People don't like Nikki Gilbert. For those who don't know, Nikki Gilbert is from a group called Brownstone. 5 miles to heaven. What is it? 5 miles to, what is it called? 5 miles to something. Empty. 5 miles to empty. I'm not like Wayne. I can't just say the lyrics like that. I got the ADHD. 5 miles to empty. If you love me, say it. Tory Lanez did an encapsulation of her song. He remixed it and flipped it or whatever. And Nikki Gilbert is known for, and there's a clip of Dominique Morgan that I was going to have in, but we were running too long. Nikki Gilbert is known for, how do I say it? She does not have a lot of favor in the music industry because she's seen as self-serving. Wayne, do you know anything about Nikki Gilbert's reputation for being self-serving and hitching herself onto other people's wagons?
No, this is new information for me.
Okay, then maybe I should find the Dominique clip and play that separately, because Dominique cussed this lady the fuck out. But I'm going to let her cook while I look for that video, because here's the thing. Without knowing that Nikki Gilbert immediately puts a bad taste in people's mouths, I'm going to actually pretend I didn't tell you any of that. I'm going to also not share my opinion. Tell me what you think about what she has to say, because she entered the discourse and now she's getting lashings, honey.
Is to support real music, support real creatives, because baby, the two things that we have to compete with, AI is one of them, and the other thing is ratchet ass, ghetto ass, low vibrational ass music and songs. I'm sick of them. Do I think that one song is going to turn somebody into a criminal? Absolutely not. And we're going to acknowledge music will heal you. It will inspire you. But when songs start streaming billions and billions of time, it becomes a part of our cultural conversation, right? It's not just shaping fashion and language and cultural identity. It's actually teaching people how to treat us. Music influences our emotions. Yeah. Music influences our cultural identity. Yeah. Music and social norms, right? Our attitudes and behaviors about things. Why is it that when we start talking about songs like Spin That, all of a suddenly, we taking it too seriously. We doing too much. We being too much of an auntie. I don't want to believe that as a culture we about to start boosting and scamming. But it's already something that plagues our communities. It's already a lot of kids who don't have parents in the household because they locked up. It's a lot of young women out there and young men.
Yes, Nikki Gilbert is the one who sued P Valley because she said that was her idea first.
Out there who got locked up for stealing some shit, didn't have the bail money or ability to get out of jail, and ended up getting in trouble while they were there, and now they got to spend the rest of their lives in prison. I just think that there's a lot more. Not that everything has to be kumbaya, and again, it's art, but Carisha has a very successful record. She's going to reap the benefits of the record. So if there's a criticism connected to it, then got to take that too.
Now let's see what Dominique Morgan has to say in response. Because I thought that was a regular. What's your first reaction?
Yes, and I mean, I think that there's always low vibrational music. I mean, immediately I was like, what was the song when I was 14? And literally we were running around talking about, hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. Tell you something that you might like.
Okay, I need to stop. I'm a bird. Let me stop. Yeah, okay.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like,
the fact that you started whispering, and I was like, ooh.
Like, we was like like,
please stop.
I'm just saying, like, I'm looking for Mrs. Bubblegum. I'm Mr. Chico Stick. I wanna no. Oh,
see, okay. Y'all calling us old, but we're actually just teenagers who have bad hips. Like, we're just.
Like... So my point is like that. Yes, there's always been that has always existed.
There's always been a spin that in the ecosystem.
Yes.
Somewhere.
And I think that there's always been a valid critique of it. And it's always existed. So this isn't a new thing. We were the best generation. For the person who just said in the comments, absolutely. I've argued that 2004 is one of the best years of music that has ever existed. The artist formerly known as Kanye West dropped The College Dropout that year. He no longer exists. He died in 2015. I said,
we have pretty Rickett. Come on.
I mean,
it's 5 in the morning. Come on.
Confessions drops in 2004. We get John Legend's first album in 2004. I mean, it's a great year. We're getting that. 2004 was the first. Is when Atlanta went mainstream. It was Atlanta was doing its thing, but we're getting like Sierra.
Sorry, I haven't.
You get what I'm saying? Like we're getting like Ludacris. Like do it. Like we're
that's
there.
My shit. But here's the thing, though. Nikki Gilbert just said that we got to be careful about, again, the mantras. At first blush, again, I kept on saying, I agree with everybody's points, right? I think Wayne's even saying the same thing. You're all making points and however, comma. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Dominique Morgan, our good sis, friend of the show, Dominique Morgan came. And I don't know if Nikki Gilbert owed her money or something. Dominique, if you want to come next week. Dominique had me feeling so bad for thinking Nikki had a point. Okay, let's just let her read this later.
Let's talk about this spin that conversation, okay? With some intellectual honesty.
All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Sorry, y'all can't keep on
yeah, no, come on. That same year was like, go on and hit it. That's what it's made for. Like, what are we talking about?
Okay, wait, we gotta be serious.
My hair. What are we talking about?
And I was braiding niggas' hair, and I can't even braid, Wayne. I was trying.
Come on. Okay. It's always been there.
We gotta be serious. I think we're gonna be good cop. Now it's bad cop, other bad cop. Let's let Dominique read this lady. Now, here's the thing. We think Nikki made a universal point that, while valid, is incomplete because it's always been the point, to your point, right?
Yep.
Again, everybody kept on saying, even that, I have friends in the music industry who I've talked about this in the last 36 hours. They say her name and they hiss. So I'm like, maybe I don't know what Nikki Gilbert did to piss everybody off, but here's what Dominique has to say about why Nikki Gilbert is persona non grata. And Wayne, don't be posting her videos, child. They might beat you. Come outside, we're not gonna hit you. But let's see what they got to say about Nikki.
You, and the you I'm talking about is Nikki Gilbert.
Oh.
You allowed your song to be attributed and engaged with a terribly violent man. And I can't find any documentation of her speaking out against Tory Lanez or having clear support of Meg Thee Stallion in like any of her platforms. And I was listening to Brownstone. Also, it may not be as front-facing as other songs are, but 5 Miles to Empty is a yearning song about chasing a nigga. I think chasing niggas is at the decline of our society.
Oh.
I think asking a nigga if you love me,
begging
a nigga to say it.
Oh.
I think that's at the footnote of a lot of young girls being slow behind these niggas. If we want to talk about it respectfully. And you may be looking at this like, Dominique, these are totally different things. It's only different if you are not accepting the premise that what people listen to influences them to the point that it will be to their detriment. It's only a moot point if you only think someone talking about spin that and boosting and stealing is the only type of conversation, words that you can digest that could be an issue. I I don't know how we went from Carisha being the weakest link of the City Girls and one fish, two fish, three blue fish type shit to her being the Pied Piper leading to destruction in the midst of the type of Drake released 3 albums in like one day. His whole tour is I read somewhere where if your name is Janice, it's like an apology party, a menace. It's like there's a lot of things out here, and I'm open to the discussion of what people ingest in their ears and their bodies and all of that, how that can be harmful. But it just feels like bullshit and this is not me, because also I think Carisha has I believe she is a part of the cleansing and the laundering of Diddy's return. I
actually agree with that. That's actually if y'all were giving her life. So far, Dominique is saying, Nikki Gilbert, you write music about women begging on men and being pick-me's. The same argument you're making about boosting could be made on a personal relationship level about being a pick-me ass bitch begging a nigga to say it. So if you have music that is not above reproach and that champions bullshit in a different realm, who are you to come here and insert yourself in a dialogue where you weren't even invited? And I had to sit with that way, and I'm not even gonna hold you.
Which is why, like, at all times, you can, where we started this, you can be right and also be wrong
simultaneously.
And I think that Dominique's point here around, like, if depending on the metric we apply to this, we can always point at something and say, hey, are you sure that you're the messenger for this?
I think that could be it. Yeah.
And if we're going to do that, then we have to circle back to the reality that India Arie is indeed the messenger for this. Because who else?
Young Miami is also the messenger for boosting ass niggas. Everybody is playing their role. I think the reason why because I was like, Blue, you're usually not apathetic because everybody's in their lane. Yes. India Arie having disdain for this is her lane. Yes. Carisha, City Girl is now a euphemism for being a scammer. Yeah. City Girl's up, right?
Yes.
So a City Girl speaking like a City Girl, and I'm not gonna call her a bald-headed lady because that was mean. What's another thing to call India Arie? An icon living.
Yes. Yes.
Incense burning lover of all. You know, I like incense too. That's not whatever, but like they're both playing their roles, and I think that's why my brain is not latching on because there's no disparity between how they're showing up and who they've always been.
Which is why I said that this is discourse for discourse sake. It is people who have decided
they're
that
mad.
I'm over here and I feel this way, or I'm over here and I feel this way. And it's like, you can absolutely be those things, land in those spaces. But ultimately, if everyone is playing their role, if everyone is doing the thing that they do, then the critique should be instead, I agree with India and I'm sitting on India's side of this, but I also know that that's who Carisha is. That's just what it is. Like, I should be able to sit in that truth.
Wait, somebody said that's Tina. There's a woman named Tina that we shouted out last week. Is Tina in here? Tina, if you're in here, say hi, I'm Tina, because this is moving so fast. I will say, we do say that the definition of integrity, because integrity means to practice what you preach from a place of upholding your moral code. Because moral codes are subjective, the only part of integrity that is consistent is practicing what you preach, right? Okay, I
get it, because honestly,
Nikki, you're done. After Dominique done told us that you were full of shit. Now this is Dwight. Now Dwight, this is our interlude. Now Dwight, I saw his take before I thought I was going to do this video, and Dwight is very much adamantly against India Arie, which surprised me. Does that surprise you?
Now that I think about it, no. But it like my first initial was like, really? But I feel like Dwight likes to do the thing of like, and y'all are wrong for that. Like, I think like that's his thing.
Oh, Tina, what's up, my love? Tina, hit me up, Bluecentric admin. I think we shouted you out, and we definitely need to talk because your video on Love Island, maybe me, you, and Wayne can talk about that shit, child. Tina had timestamps about how Bryce is the true villain. We're going to get to that in a sec. By the way, guys, the Love Island segment is going to be in the members area because we're going a little bit over once we wrap up India Arie, because I do think the India Arie discourse is a little bit lighter, and I don't want you jumping me and Wayne for saying what the fuck we mean. I want to fast forward.
This conversation.
Now let's see what Dwight has to say, because here's the thing. Dwight makes sense. I just thought that he'd be as on the fence as we are. Like the whole, I can see both sides. He thinks it's just India's just wrong.
I never get on the fence from Dwight.
True, but I thought but I never get on the fence with me. So I thought that maybe we all were in a conundrum together. Dwight said, "Fuck y'all, I'm still picking a side." So here we go.
Being had about Spend That is actually about being politically correct. Okay. And I thought we were past the point as Black folks where we were trying to be politically correct. Because who are we trying to impress? The oppressors? And then saying that this is a poor reflection of us as Black people. To whom? To the original scammers and boosters? They was literally boosting people from their countries. It had to be made illegal to stop stealing people from their countries for forced labor. And I'm not mad at the people who be boosting and scamming. You know why? Because what I'm actually mad at is the disproportionate spread of wealth across races that forces people to have to boost and scam in order to get ahead, or even to just get school clothes for their kids. And I'm not even about to get into how all of the rap girlies been rapping like this, because we already know that. But wanting to boycott a song and stop somebody from getting a Grammy instead of boycotting the systems of oppression that are currently working against us is crazy work. Diabolical.
This is a perfect time for me to talk about something that I've been talking about.
Now, this lady, I'm going to pause for her because she thinks that heavy right here. What do you think about what Dwight said? Because Dwight sounds like you, but he's saying the opposite, and I'm torn now.
Yes, and that is actually a take I would have.
That's what I'm saying. He sounds like you, but he sounds like how we usually talk, but he's saying the opposite, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Because he's having a completely different conversation.
Oh, explain. Elaborate.
So we're having a conversation about the generational aspect, the interracial, like the intra-racial element of this conversation and how that plays out. He's having a political conversation, which is a take I would normally have. I would normally say, let's look at this in a socio-political context, which is what he did. So he took it out of the intra-racial conversation we're having and moved it into a political one. And then if that's the take, I agree with that take if it's about respectability politics. Where I disagree with the take is if we were to superimpose that back into our conversation. So he's having a completely different conversation than the one we're having.
So you're saying that it's almost like moving the goalpost by making it the top. What's not the topic? India Arie. But here's the thing, though. India Arie's comment was about the politics. So is that where India took it, and he's following her there?
Yes, and I think that it would be one thing to say, because I think much of the conversation that we're having is around what does that look like in Black spaces? What represents Blackness? And that's kind of where he starts. And he's like, why? To protect white folks. And then he moves into the historical elements of how whiteness has showed up for us. And then talks about the socio-political realities, which is what we talked about a few minutes ago, of why folks scam. So we agree that the idea of scamming is a byproduct of the systems and structures that are created in ways that are prejudiced against and excluding of Black people. We agree.
Which is why, by the way, I want to say when Wendy Osefo was being investigated for potentially insurance fraud, the radical part of me was like, I'm not going to weep in the streets for an insurance company that's been scamming our people in particular for generations, getting a little bit of a lick back from a housewife, and you know what I mean, like.
Right.
I do. There are moments where I'm apathetic to the system getting a lick back from people that they've
100%.
already systemically broken down into pieces.
100%. I mean, back to what I was saying earlier about the artist formerly known as Kanye West. All the drug dealers just to get by, get your money, spend your cash, stack your cash sky high, right? Like that makes sense. So I agree with Dwight's point in the context of if we're talking about whiteness. Here's how whiteness has showed up for us, and here's why scamming is necessary. Now, if I'm going to push back on the point, the only pushback I'd have is there a difference between scamming to make sure, as he says in the video, to make sure that you can pay for your kids to have food, and scamming to live in opulence? Because I don't believe those are the same thing.
Oh God, that's okay. So you did that. You landed that plane for somebody. You did that. And I will say this too. I don't know if my algorithm is just on one. The minute I watched Dwight's video, it's almost like the algorithm was my producer. Immediately she popped up.
Okay.
She has a political pushback against Dwight.
Okay.
That I also found compelling. Yo, I feel like a Libra. You know how Libras just agree with whoever sitting next to them? Child, I've never been this lost in my own show. I will say this, trigger warning. This pushback is going to also reference heinous crimes done to a Black man, and why that being done to the Black man is why she can't listen to Spend That, and why she's personally triggered by it. So if you are somebody who has any kind of pain point around violence against Black bodies, or you just had a rough week and you can't handle it, I'm giving you a second right now, and maybe this is the time to go to the bathroom. You too, Wayne. I don't want to trigger you as well. But her pushback is when shit got serious for me, from just a discourse about India Arie to why I think this is triggering people on both sides so much, even though it is, to your point, discourse for the sake of discourse.
About on other apps, and a case that I'm following here in Cobb County, Georgia. This song doesn't feel good to me right now. I don't like this song right now. I don't enjoy this song. I don't enjoy the dance. I keep scrolling whenever I see it on my timeline. I just don't like this song right now. And it has nothing to do with Young Miami. And I know it's not her fault, but I want to give y'all my perspective because, yeah, maybe I'm a fun sucker, but not everything needs to be fun and not everything needs to be glamorized. I don't know if y'all have heard about it, but this past week in Kennesaw, Georgia at Town Center Mall, which is maybe 12 to 15 minutes from where I live, there was a young Black man named Cortez. I don't know if it's Eatman or Edmond. I'm going to pronounce it Edmond. But there's a young Black man named Cortez. Edmond was killed by the police. He was running away and he was shot in his back for alleged shoplifting. So right now, again, I know it's not her fault. It ain't got nothing to do with her. But for me, that trend and that song, it just don't feel good to me right now. It's not funny. And I know people who have seen the movie I Love Boosters, they have opinions about it, and they're like, it's absurdity, it's anti-capitalist, it's a very politically charged film. Look, none of that shit matters when a young Black man got 6 bullets in his back. Like, imagine it's young Black men being murdered, and that shit is so lame and corny to me right now. That's my honest opinion. I know Black people, we dominate in pop culture spaces, right? We dominate media, we dominate music, we dominate movies, we dominate artistically, period. But we have to remember who the fuck we are in this country. Remember, we are the same people who the slave patrol was out to get. Remember, we are the same people who they were stringing up in trees back then and still doing it now. Remember that all that scamming, boosting, all that crazy shit, that can literally be the end of you as a Black person in this country. And I'll go so far as to add this, and I don't give a damn who don't like it, I'm gonna say it anyway. A lot of those celebrities who are pushing those narratives or glamorizing these topics and turning these things into art in a way that influences especially younger people, they're not at the same risk. They're not out there shoplifting themselves. They are not out there living the life that they're talking about in these songs, but they are influencing people and they're influencing society, and they are helping to normalize these behaviors that lead to Black people literally being killed like dogs in the street. And I think we just have to remember that they're not living the same life as most normal people are. And there's a lot of shit in this country that a Black celebrity or a non-Black person can get away with that you can't get away with. Before you jig into that song and you take it too serious, remember who the fuck you are in this country. I just don't think it's cool to glamorize some things. And right now, how I feel right now, that song and certain topics, they just don't feel good to me.
Young Miami make
and I'm gonna this is where things get heavy. I'm gonna give you a second. Do you have any response to that before we get into why Young Miami in particular is triggering to those who know her history singing that song? Do you have any comment to the last video we just saw? Because that was a lot. That was a lot.
Yes, I agree. I think that something I've always been struck by, there's a song on Damn by Kendrick Lamar called XXX featuring U2. And in it, he has this dichotomy where he talks about, if somebody, unalives my son, then someone's gonna get killed. Like, I'll take the blower and shoot him and then throw the blower in his lap. I'll walk myself to the judge like, yeah, I did that. And he's like, well, actually, I got to call you back. I got to go speak real quick. And he goes, hey, kids, I'm going to talk to you guys about gun control. So Kendrick does this beautiful thing where he talks about he's like, yeah, if somebody comes after my kids, somebody da-da-da-da. And then he's like, I'll call you back. I have this thing. I have this talk I have to do. Hey, kids, let's talk about and then he goes into this verse about the absurdity of America.
Yeah.
And he ends it by saying, America is reflections of me. That's what America does. There's a reason why he won a Pulitzer for this album.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
The entire thing is a satire. It's beautifully done.
The entire country's a satire, but yes.
Yes. So I think that there's an element here where at times it feels like we can be talking out of both sides of our mouths around some of these issues. And so I fully understand the point. Like, if for me in particular, if I've just had certain experiences where I'm watching something play out, it's like, I don't find this funny or fascinating. And I think all of us pull from that at times where we're like, hey, yeah, no, turn that off, because I don't want that here. And that is usually connected to something very specific. So I think that that's a very valid point that she's making, especially given that. And so I think, like, and of course the pushback is always, man, it's just fun. And it's like, well, is it ever just fun? And it depends on who you talk to. And that has always been the conversation with hip hop. Always.
Oh God, hip hop is aging in a very. I feel like hip hop is having a midlife crisis of sorts. It's in its 50s, which makes sense. It tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, perfect example of when I was a kid, I remember watching my uncle struggle to get a job, and I was a very empathetic child, and seeing my uncle struggle to make money hurt my feelings. And then when I would go out and hear broke niggas to the left, I would be so sad, like, no, because my uncle's a broke, but he's a good man. And I wasn't being a pick me. It was just that I immediately, as someone who was empathetic to somebody who was broken because of their financial situation, those songs that constantly make fun of broke people, knowing that most of you is broke niggas, if we're being honest, I was like, oh, but that's you. You gotta go to the left. And so it does depend on how sensitive and raw you are. And I also I'm starting to wonder, spin that. A lot of men are being baddies with this song, Wayne. I don't know if you have realized it is their WAP. Spin that is the black man's WAP of 2020. We didn't make it the song of the summer. Every day I post at least one video of a black man dropping it low and spreading it wide for Spin That. I like my
it was supposed to be a Drake song that did it. Like, it was supposed to be Drake was supposed to be the one that brought the summer back. And here it is, they out here like
spin that shit. And I'm just like, oh, this is real. Y'all dancing in cursive. Okay, you a bad bitch, sir. And so why do you think black men in particular are latching onto the song of the summer more than what the ladies are? Because usually it's the ladies who run the song of the summer, but right now it's y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in this economy, you at least want to have the appearance of having money.
That's true.
I mean, I think you bring up a good point, right? And so I saw someone in the comments say, if you ain't got no money, take your broke ass home, right? Like,
used to hurt my feelings for the broke.
Like, there's ladies, leave your man at home. The club is full of ballers and their pockets full grown, right?
Like, Beyonce caught you astray. Okay.
That's why Shorty hollered, "Where the ball is at?" Like, there's a consistency here. And when we are living in what I would argue is one of the greatest communication divides relationally that I've seen.
Intentionally done so.
Yes. The way that men believe that they can attract women is through like peacocking cash. And so the idea of having an anthem to their mating call works.
And a dance. They got a little swirly dance to go with it.
Yes. So
have you ever done that though? Have you ever, be honest, this is a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever used money to peacock or thought that you had to? And how did you confront that part of you?
No.
You've never thought, I gotta and make sure that.
No, but part of the problem is I grew up in the suburbs. So
you already had the money, child.
Well, but there was a negative.
Really?
So
because you had no street cred.
Exactly. So for me, I was on the flip side. I almost was like, I don't want anyone to know that my parents have money, because that's gonna be. I'm new. I'm new.
Wait, are you Carl? Are you Black Carl?
Like, no, I'm new in ATL. Like, I don't want y'all to know where I'm from.
Yeah. But on Love Island, though, everybody thinks Carl is rich because his whole family plays volleyball. That's the joke. Is everybody? Oh, you can tell Carl is rich.
Carl's from Minnesota. He went to a college that's a rival of mine. Hilariously, when I found it out, I was like, "That makes sense."
You and Carl are rich, ladies. Not hit up Dwayne. First of all, it's not Wayne. It's Dwayne when he got the money, right? Whenever you talk about being rich, it's Dwayne. That's your alter ego, like Stefan or Kel.
Yeah,
there's Wayne and there's a rich Dwayne. Do you have friends who struggle like that?
Yeah, absolutely. But my thing was, I'm constantly pushing this idea of like, do you believe that's what women want? And also, if that's what you believe that women want, are you attracting the type of woman who you will like? Because that's a discrepancy. It's like if you peacock, you're going to attract a certain type of person, and then you're going to complain. This is my issue with Drake. Then you're going to complain about the person that you attracted because you attracted them through the means of money. And like, oh, she just want money.
You literally courted that type of woman,
yes,
and then got mad she showed up.
Yes. So for me, I've never been that because I just knew that I also was never going to enjoy the environment of that type of energy.
Well, he said his pockets hurt. He's like, bitch, you a lie.
I'm sorry. Like, this is not. This is not how
city girl though. I've never been a city girl, and I'm like, was that a rite of passage that I missed? I've never in my entire life dated someone and said, I wonder if he makes enough money for me to date him. It's never happened in my entire life. And it's such a normalized conversation with women right now. It almost feels like I'm missing out on something. I will say this though, this last video, this one was important because I didn't know this. I don't know Young Miami's lore like a lot of people do. And I wanted us to be honest about why some people, even though it's consistent for Young Miami being a city girl to sing this song, they think that even that consistency is problematic for a very specific reason. So this was an education for me. I just learned this about 3 hours ago, y'all. So we're learning together.
Song and certain topics, they just don't feel good to me.
Young Miami making a song about boosting and her mom actually going to prison for said boosting is extremely insensitive to the victim that her mom killed. I'll explain. About 10 years ago, Young Miami's mom, I believe, went to prison. I think it was about 2015 after being on the run. And the result was her and her boyfriend at the time went to Aventura Mall down here in South Florida. And the mom and the boyfriend were stealing purses. As the mom and the boyfriend were trying to escape the police, they ended up running through a red light. They end up killing a 40-something-year-old grandmother. As a result, the boyfriend went to prison. Young Miami's mom went to prison. Her mom got out just a few years ago because Young Miami posted, I believe in about 2021, that she was very excited for her mom to be getting out of prison. Here we are, not even 5-6 years later, Young Miami is now making a song and being celebrated for said song that is the literal thing that her mom went to prison for. I personally feel that that song is extremely insensitive to the victim's family that Young Miami's mom killed, and it is showing that we are glamorizing boosting culture. But y'all don't want to hear me. Y'all just want to dance. So, whatever.
Y'all don't want to hear me. You just want to dance. Come on, Outkast.
Oh my God. What do you think about that? That's a lot. That made me like, oh shit.
Yeah. And I think once again, we find ourselves in the space where you have like that context plays in, and then all of a sudden you have people go, well, it's just not supposed to be that deep. Clearly it is. Very clearly it is. Especially, you got to know, you got to be self-aware. You got to be more self-aware than that. That's wild.
Singing that's having your biggest hit being you glamorizing the thing that put your mother in jail. Is there any world where Young Miami didn't clock that herself? Or do you think she absolutely knew and just didn't give a fuck?
I don't think she cared. Just
oh my God. Now I feel like I'm the sad stripper trying to dance, but now I'm sad about it. Like,
yeah.
It's less fun when you so here's the thing. A lot of times people say it's not that deep. What they really mean is they're not that deep. Because I feel like most things low key be that deep.
For sure. And to your point, like, I think one of the reasons why we do have these conversations is because of the fact that, like, those of us who are conscious, it gives us the ability to be conscious about the things that we're saying and doing.
Yeah.
And to also flag, oh, you aren't. You know, the other day, one of my favorite movies is Love Don't Cost a Thing. I'm watching it with my son.
Oh,
and we get to the end of the movie where they're on the beach, right? And it's the dance. Jump, jump, don't just hit me, you know. So, and I'm just like, and as soon as I hear Diddy, like we said it upon the gold now, I was like, oh, I forgot Diddy was on this song. And I was like, I gotta find a way to not think about this so I can do this. You know, but like there's an element too of like, consciousness is necessary if you're going to be a conscientious person. Now, if you choose not to be a conscientious person, don't yell at people who are. And if you are a conscientious person and you point something out and someone goes, that's not that deep, sometimes that's where I leave people. I'll go, it's not that deep for you? Cool. God bless you. Enjoy boosting. Do your thing. At that point, I'm not going to pull you into the deep for you to drown.
Because you're not equipped to swim. Exactly. You never wanted to be that deep. You wanted to stay in the shallow end. I will say this. I'm not going to judge people, myself included, who were bopping to the song before they double clicked on it. And though preparing for today's live is making it harder for me to do the shimmy when I hear it, if that makes sense. It's almost like ignorance really is bliss.
It is.
And the part where, here's the thing, I was on the fence for a lot of this because everybody was making valid points. The one thing that I'm actually 100% 10 toes down on is this part, which is that when Young Miami's producers took video and remixed it to do a remix of Spend That as a fuck you to India Arie, I find that disrespectful.
Absolutely.
The one thing that I actually 100% am not on the fence about is that that's incredibly disrespectful. And this young lady brought up a good point. India Arie owns all her shit, which means she can sue the shit out of you.
You know, you ain't got to like India Arie's opinion about your song, but doing shit like this is going to get you sued.
Yeah.
And if that lady sues y'all, I don't feel any type of ways because now you're poking the bear. You could have just said, fuck your opinion and went on about your life. No, now you're touching that woman's artistry. And unlike Carisha, India Arie is an independent artist. She owns all of her songs. She can easily take you to court because she did not grant you niggas any permission. Any type of permission to do that. Like, I genuinely don't understand this poking of the bear. Again, she just gave her opinion, bro. You ain't gotta like it, but this shit is just going to do even more damage. Like, come the fuck on. Now it's like you're asking for a lawsuit. And again, if that lady decides to sue y'all, you only have yourself to blame because you did this.
I will say this.
I made a video talking about.
We're now pivoting to Love Island. Yes, we are. Y'all know, Wayne and I are both in the trenches. This is Saving Private Ryan. What are your last thoughts on the India Arie discourse? Because this I thought it was discourse for discourse, and it kept on getting. It was like a Russian doll. Every time I opened it, it was something else in it. Now that we've seen all sides, I feel like we've been very granular about seeing all sides. What is your? Somebody was actually right now, gun to your head, not a real gun. What are your thoughts about the hate train against India Arie because she spoke out against Young Miami? Whose side are you on? What are your lasting thoughts?
Yeah, I think India Arie is entitled to her opinion, and her opinion was never to boycott the song. I think Young Miami's free to make whatever music she wants to make, and she's entitled to that. And I think that once we get to the point where it's getting to trolling or disrespecting the legacy that is India Arie, we've lost the plot. Enjoy the song if you enjoy the song. Don't if you don't.
That's actually really well put. And honestly, where I find myself is I get why the song is catchy and I get why it's also offensive. And I'm not going to come out against anyone who feels either way about it, just because I feel like there are more egregious sins that I could be focusing my righteous indignation on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you a question. Do you believe that your name has power? Like, do you believe that certain names put a stamp on you or put a certain energy around you?
For sure. I was intentional naming all my children.
Really? Do you want to share any names because people are funny about sharing names?
For sure. So my oldest I'm Wayne the second. My dad named me after him. So my oldest is Wayne the third. Okay. And then I have a daughter, Angelina Gabrielle.
Oh, that's pretty. She sounds like she's pretty. Sorry, that sounds.
She's very pretty. She's an angel. And then Naomi, which means sweet, and then Micah. So I was very, very intentional.
What was the thought around Micah?
I wanted this. So I had this idea of like, and at the time I was a pastor. There's some lore here.
Okay, wait, what's happening? Okay, we were just. Yeah. I was just getting with a pastor on live. I feel dirt. Okay, sir.
No, I was. Ainamo is.
No more shimmying. I'm so sorry, pastor.
Yes, no, Ainamo is. But I was very fascinated by the voices in the Old Testament that were speaking against the system. And I wanted to pull one whose role was that. And this idea of like being one who speaks with authority. So that was just kind of That was my thought process behind Micah, and I just thought it was of the Old Testament prophet names, it was the one that landed for me the best.
I give them a long line of people who have biblical names. I'm Haitian and Cuban, and my middle name is Emanuela, which is Spanish for Emmanuel, and that's very much in the Bible. Easter was rough for me going to Catholic school, and one of the things I've always thought about is how I was Emanuela growing up, and then around 1920, everybody switched to Blue, and how it feels like Emanuela and Blue are living two very different lives.
For sure.
Emanuela, first of all, everybody immediately knew I was Afro-Latin, right? Because Blue, you don't know what the hell's going on. But immediately people started to, there was like a exoticness to it that they reacted to. It felt kind of fetishy, right? So Blue, I stopped being fetishized. Now I'm just a Black girl. Don't nobody care about the Spanish name, right? But also I recognize that Blue is also gender neutral. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. There's an area, like it's just, there's a lightness to it that Emanuela didn't have. For sure. I'm bringing this up as a segue because this young man was talking about his conversation and theory around the name Sincere. Y'all like that segue? He was talking about what does it mean to be named. Your mama called you Sincere. I'm gonna call you bullshit. What does it mean to be named Sincere when the audience is convinced that you are anything but? And so I wanted to run this theory past you before we get into some of your videos that I've loved around this topic, because I was like, yeah, we've been making fun of his name, but imagine what it's meant having to carry that name his entire life. Sure. And does that feed into some of his bullshit?
How Sincere from Love Island is trapped in a prison because of his own name. And someone in the comments was like, oh, that's actually a real phenomenon. It's called nominative determinism. And I was like, did you just cast a spell on me? Why is my furniture floating? And then I looked into it, and it's actually the concept that your name dictates what the rest of your life will look like. Your name dictates how people perceive you, what kind of jobs you get, what kind of hobbies you have. It can even dictate what you look like. That's why every guy named Jake looks like a guy named Jake, and every girl named Emma looks like a girl named Emma. So if I give you these two people and I say, which one of these people is Dan?
Who do you think is Dan? Redhead or the brunette?
Oh, it's definitely the brunette. Dan's on the right.
Isn't that crazy?
100%.
How do we all know who Dan is? Okay, this is fucking with me a little bit.
You can probably accurately guess which one is Dan because he looks like a guy named Dan. If you said this side, correct, that's Dan, and you can tell. So our names are like a spell that's being cast on us our entire life. It's the same frequency being thrown at us since we were born. And like, it's no coincidence, the fastest man on earth is named Usain Bolt. If your last name is Bolt, I would hope you're fast. His whole life has just been Bolt, 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 Usain Bolt, Usain Bolt, 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 Usain Bolt, Usain Bolt, Bolt, Bolt. And then he wound up being the fastest man on earth. Our names can dictate how people perceive us. Our names can almost give us like a halo effect. Like Sincere from Love Island, he says, hi, my name is Sincere. You're automatically going to associate positive qualities with him. But if someone walked up to you and said, hi, my name is Lucifer, you would kind of be like, oh, your name's what? Okay, I don't know if I can trust that person. Maybe I got to warm up to him. I don't know if I want to get close.
You see how beautiful this is segues from the India Arie conversation about songs being mantras? You see how we were stuck on how much weight to put in a song being a mantra, but how quickly we recognize that a name is also casting a spell.
Yes. So what's wild about that, I just mentioned I'm named after my dad. I was on the phone with my mom yesterday, and we were talking about how, you know, I got married young, got divorced, and I was saying at the time when I was getting married, my mom was like, hey, maybe you should just not get married so young. I said, but I was determined subconsciously to be y'all. I was determined to be my parents.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't consciously know it, but I was subconsciously making a lot of decisions, and my life was playing out exactly like theirs. And my mom was like, it did to a T until it didn't. And she's like, and I was really glad when you got freed from the shackles of our story.
My God, today. Does your mother preach? Or she was
And my dad's a pastor. So it was like, it was very much that. It was, and then, so part of it is like, I'm Just Wayne online intentionally because I was Pastor Wayne for a decade.
Oh, that's why you're Just Wayne.
I'm Just Wayne.
That is so crazy. And when this crowd loves the lore, because I do have a weird lore. Because one time when I went to Bali, I ended up having dinner with the prince, and he was named after his daddy. And he said, I don't think I can live to my father's name. And I gave him a whole speech about how you need to free yourself from your father. There's a picture of it. And I remember that moment and thinking to myself, you're a prince right? You're a Balinese prince in this temple
Yeah.
with all this money,
Yeah.
and you're worried about living up to your father's name. And I instantly thought to myself, I don't think I would ever name my child after me, because the weight of that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I will say this too. Sincere almost feels like, if we're going with this logic, like you would have to almost feel a responsibility to come off pleasing everybody. It's almost like a people pleaser name.
Yes.
And I believe in Sincere's mind, what's holding him captive is he wants everybody in front of him to think he's sincere, even if he has to lie to do it.
And all of the things that he says sincerely. They're so beautiful and poetic.
I fell for myself. That first week, I thought Sincere was sincere as hell. I'm not even gonna hold you. I fell for it.
I saw it, but I only saw it because I know it.
You are it?
Yeah. He's also an Aries. Both him and KC are Aries.
Oh, give me okay. Let's give me
with him versus if a
let's just fast forward the name thing. Now I'm triggered. Oh, and look who comes
there
next.
because it'll dictate the rest of their life.
Love Island season 8.
Okay, so wait, is it gonna freak you out to see yourself while you looking at yourself?
I watch myself often. I'm gonna be honest. So no,
You're such an Aries. Oh my God, fire signs are never beating the out. He's like, no, I love it here. Okay, Jesus Christ. Wait a second, I don't give a damn. I love it here. What a handsome man. For those of you who are watching, we're about to go into Love Island dialogue. So if you're not a member, in the next 5 minutes, we're gonna disappear. Thank you for watching us up until this point. But this part of the conversation, I want to have it without the trolls. I want me and Wayne to be safe and not to be called a bunch of old N-words and all types of crazy shit. So if you're not a member, we appreciate you. If you are a member, this is just the beginning. Let's hear what Wayne had to say yesterday. Let's see what you had to say.
Episode 26. Spoilers? Duh. We could have saved nearly 48 hours of online discourse had we gotten all of movie night in one episode. Literally in the first few minutes in the aftermath of movie night, we see Anaya walk over to the boys, acknowledge that her walking over to Casey, standing over him and yelling at him was wrong. It was out of character, and apologize for it. In that same moment, we see Casey apologize for standing up and how that could have been communicated, acknowledge that what he was trying to do was be heard. We see Anaya say, yeah, I can understand that. You were just trying to be heard.
Now pause. When Anaya did that, was your first thought, oh, this is sincere? Pun not intended. What was your first thought? Oh, so this is the part of the season where the producers have to pull you aside because you jumped the shark a little bit.
Yes, both. I think that Anaya, the way that she grew up, and I'm making a lot of assumptions there, but I think the way that she grew up, I'm sure she was like, oh, we don't act like that. And we know that she feels that way because she said to Tiara, what's this, Bad Girls Club? So I think that there was an element for her where she saw herself and was like, "Ooh, girl, you let yourself get out of pocket." And also, someone from production was like, "What was that?" And she was like, I know, I'm already on my way." So I can believe both. Like I could believe what both Anna's about it.
Okay, that is fair. Because to me, it started to feel a little bit like General Hospital means after school special. It was giving real Carl. You know when Carl Winslow and Steve Urkel, you would hear that music. You're like, you know, Steve, we need to have a talk. It started to feel a little bit like a 90s sitcom special conversation. And anything contrived immediately, I'm a little bit hesitant. I will say this, though. Even in your answer, you're hinting at this. Do you believe, and be honest, that Anaya is classist? Do you think that classism is something that she might subconsciously grapple with, because she said several things
for sure
that you can note that might be a part of her leaning?
Yes, and I think once again, I grew up in the suburbs, right? So I know some of my unconscious bias. Yes, I know some of my unconscious biases that I had to work out as a teacher. Like I had to do that in real time.
Okay.
Where like suddenly I'm teaching at a school that is 60% students of color, and I'm talking to black kids like, y'all got to be better because we're better than this, and then it took that first year for me to go, oh no, that's internalized white supremacy. Oh my God, I am an agent of white supremacy. I think I'm helping these black students, but I don't see these black students as me. That's crazy.
You're making it center the white gaze in a way that you hadn't clocked previously. Yeah.
So I could see some of that. I mean, I think he's not on your level. You'd have to build him up. That also spoke to that for me.
I hated that pep talk. Everybody loved it. I hated that pep talk.
To me, I was like, how is this not disrespectful? But
oh no, wait, we're about to get into the word disrespectful and how maybe we need to do a lesson plan on distasteful versus disrespectful versus your feelings were just hurt and you can't take it even if free agency was being honored.
For sure. So I think that, yes, I think that there's some of that exists for her. And the reason why I also feel that way is the way that she said that was out of my character. And so the way that character gets preached to you, at least for me, I remember my dad sitting me down and having a talk with me one time where he said, hey, when you go to school, I need you to recognize that you can't do the stuff that these white folks can do. And sometimes you got to be a little white tomorrow. That was the phrase he used. So there's an element of like,
that's crazy work.
Yeah. So there's an element of like this, when your character has to show up in certain ways and you can't show out in front of certain people. Also, we don't show out like those other people. So I think that exists for her.
And did you see how embarrassed she was, though? I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're making me realize because she never once said she was crying over KC. She was crying about being embarrassed by KC.
Mm-hmm.
It was never, I loved him so much or I cared about him